Welcome back, Rob Leonard and Patrick Graham. Man, oh man, does it feel good to say that. I'm Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Report, and we are live. I'm telling you this right now. If you were fired up, if it put a smile on your face when you found out the news that Patrick Graham and Rob Leonard are coming back to the silver and black, spam me down below, because I'm telling you this right now. I got a hell of a show on tap for the nation out there today. And coming up here live on our Raiders Report program, it's this. We're going to get into the latest news and rumors circulating around the silver and black. We're going to talk about Tom Cable. It's a name that I can't believe we're mentioning again. We're going to look at a quarterback that's getting a little bit of hype from the Senior Bowl, and maybe it makes some sense for the silver and black. We're going to talk about Antonio Pierce. We're going to talk about Patrick Graham. We're going to talk about Rob Leonard. But since the Raiders decided to bring back PG, which again is a move that I am very, very excited about, and because the silver and black have $92.3 million in salary cap space, I said, you know what? Let's look at 5 free agents. If I was in a room with Patrick Graham, Tom Brady, John Spytek, I would say these are the top 5 free agents that I would want the Raiders to target on the defensive side of the football. We will also do a mailbag, so you can use hashtag Raiders or Super Chat to skip the line. The mailbag will probably be in about an hour from now. I know it says Venthrac Happy Hour. We are going to do a special show today. Venthrac has the opportunity to make Mount Raider more. However, I'm not going to tell anybody what the Mount Raider more deal is. I'm not going to tell anybody what the Happy Hour deal is because Venthrac isn't here yet. He's still at work, and I want to go through and I want to get through 3 segments. So I'm talking 3 segments, and then we will let this thing turn into a shit show in about 90 minutes from now. So we're going to get real Raiders content. I'm going to be able to chop it up. None of the shenanigans. So if you got somebody that's under the age of 21 and you don't want them around the craziness, well, you can watch the first 90 minutes of the show, and then the last hour of it, I'm just going to be real. It's going to be kind of crazy here. Show Patrick Graham some love, though. Spam PG down below. What do we got here? I got Juan Hernandez. What's up, Juan? 93 Nab Man, I see you down there below. Steven, Mario, BA. What up, Agent Red? Today has been a good day in the nation. Also, the room that we're in here, I can never tell if it's going to be hot or if it's going to be cold, and I'm already sweating in here. So the jacket is gotta come off. Show Patrick Graham some love. Let's get those PGs going down below. Now, I know this is the Raiders Report, but we always predicate ourselves to be able to talk about NFL news, NFL topics, and have you seen the Justin Tucker news? It's bad, dude. It's a bad look, and I get it. Innocent until proven guilty. A lot of stuff needs to happen, but man, oh man, this is a really sad story, quite frankly.
AFC North is just wilding.
I don't understand why people just can't be decent human beings, be normal human beings. Again, I don't know exactly what's happening around this situation. Chuggs, Justin Tucker news.
So basically, if you haven't seen the news already today, Justin Tucker has been accused by 6 massage therapists of, let's just say, some sexual misconduct while he was getting services from these massage parlors. Very similar to the Deshaun Watson news. If you remember anything like that, there's been 6 people to come out and say that Justin Tucker has done this. There's been multiple people in the media that have said there are corroborated, is that the right word? Corroborated stories?
Similar stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, it's sad, dude.
But the stories have been basically, some people have come out and say the stories have been proven true.
Yikes.
Tucker has come out and vehemently denied all of it, said none of it is true, this is all fake news. So basically that's going on with Justin Tucker, Deshaun Watson 2.0.
I mean, let's try to do a better job in 2025 of just being better human beings all around. I always say on this show, when you put good energy out in the world, good stuff happens. We like to bring this stuff up because it can happen to anybody. It could also be anybody. So just go out there, think responsibly, and always go, is that something that I would do? Yes or no? The golden rule, treat people the way that you wish to be treated. Let's just all do a little bit of a better job in 2025. Justin Tucker, honestly, I hope it's not true. Because I hope that it's not true for the women. Hope it's not true for Tucker. Hope it's not true for everybody that's involved. But It is an unfortunate situation
Do
here.
you know what is true?
What is true?
You can get great deals with our sponsor, Game Time, on last-minute tickets.
I was nervous how you were going to transition off of that. I'm not going to lie to you.
That is a fact.
That
you
is a
can get
fact.
great deals on last-minute tickets. You can even see the views from your seat, and that lowest price, it is guaranteed.
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets today with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today, and if you're wondering what time is it, it's game time. Whether you're trying to get tickets for the big game or whether you're trying to go see a concert or a comedy event, Game Time's got you covered. Also, our other sponsor here on today's live program is PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Make sure that you use code CLNS. You can put down some money if you want to put some extra money in your pocket. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. If you plan on watching the big game, can I get some FKCs down below? You might as well put money in your pocket. Whether you hate this guy or you kind of dislike this guy, I would imagine those are probably the two options for the people watching the show right now. You might as well put money in your pocket. Pick more on Patrick Mahomes and then find another player, less more. You can go a lot of different options. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. If you plan on watching the big game with Chuggs and I, which is actually, 10 days away from now, we're going to have a PrizePicks lineup in, and hopefully y'all get one in as well. All right, y'all, we got 500 people tuned into this program. If you haven't already, make sure you click that like button. We would definitely appreciate it. Also, we're going to answer some questions here from the nation, but I do want to try to get into the 3 segments relatively quickly here on today's program, and then we will get into the mailbag. Then we will get into the super chats. Then we will get into the craziness that is around Venthrac. And I'm going to be real, I wanted to keep the craziness on the back end of our show because I wanted Venthrac to be here to rock with us. So I know we do a lot of crazy stuff on this show, and I know it happens all the time. So if we get a bang, if we get a super chat early on, I'll celebrate it. But real talk, it would mean a lot to me if we saved it for that final hour. If we just saved everything for the final hour, all the craziness. But if you do want to at least get a question in, I would say probably the first 10 super chats that are around Raiders questions. I'll also say this. I want them to be around free agency. Free agency, trades, NFL draft. I want it to be around that. So if it's around those topics, you got a much better shot at getting in the mailbag here on today's show. I just wanted to let you know. So what's your confidence level in this new Raiders coaching staff? Donald says 6 until we get a good OC. BA's going to go with an 8.5. Ruben, what up, Ruben? 8. Steven says 10. PG is a leader. I love the Patrick Graham as well, but at the same time, we do need to be able to bring in an OC. As happy as I am that Patrick Graham was brought in, I can quickly be that angry if the Raiders were to bring in a Luke Getsy at the offensive coordinator position. And we'll talk about somebody that might get the job because his name is being brought up with another name for a potential coach here for the Silver and Black. And you can already tell the Raiders are working quickly. It looks like they put their concentration on the defensive side of the football, and then they're going to put more of that attention, I guess, on the offensive side of the ball. God family, Raiders for life. What is up, my dude? Hope you use your Raiders mug for your drinks today. And if you already have the same hat, use it as a giveaway, my brother. PG and Rob Leonard equals consistency. PC, Pete Carroll preached it in the press conference, and happy Mad Max is good. Max loves the fact that both PG and Rob Leonard are back, that I'm telling you right now. I actually use the Raiders mug often. I don't use it as often here in this studio, and that's because it's glass, and I'm always concerned if I were to break it, but you can ask anybody that sits next to me. I use it now as like my drinking glass because it's much bigger, and I'm trying to drink a lot of water and trying to stay hydrated, but I do use it a lot. The only reason why I get nervous when it comes to glass, and again, why we use the apparatuses that we use, because I don't want anything glass, because glass has a tendency to break, and, well, we've had a lot of experience here at Chat Sports where we kind of ruined some stuff. So there's a reason why we keep boots out there. We keep a lot of the glass stuff out there. I don't want it to come off as I don't appreciate it. It's just we got to use certain things that's, the best for the studio space in here. Hopefully you guys understand that. Crash Dog says, is there a duck race today? We're 100% going to do a duck race today. We can't have a happy hour without a duck race. So if anybody wants to get in, it's a $10 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. We are going to do a duck race at the very, very end of today's show. And because today's all about Venthrac during happy hour, I'm going to put Venthrac in on my behalf. So Venthrac, if you want to get in again, if you watch this on a later date, I know you're not really here right now, but I'm at least going to put you in and I'll pay for that one. Venthrac, you in. Crash Dog, yes, $10 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. Shout out to my guy, Gunny. All right, so here's what we're going to do. See a lot of super chats flowing in here, and I love them. If you want to be featured in the mailbag, hashtag Raiders or super chat, ask around free agency, trades, or the NFL draft. So, Chuggs, I want to save these questions. And I said the first 10 super chats that we get that are free agency related, we're going to put them in the mailbag. So anything trade, free agency, draft related, they're going to go in the mailbag. And again, that's going to be in about, I'd say, 60 minutes from now. So what I want to do is this. I want to get into the first segment. I want to get into the second segment. Third segment, I want to be done by 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, which that means then that final hour, Raiders happy hour. If you haven't already, make sure you click that like button. So I see Sal, I see Raider Tone. I love these questions, and I'm going to put those in the mailbag. That's kind of why I didn't want to answer them and then re-answer them when they were going into the mailbag. Plus, I want to get through these other segments. That way we can let our hair down here a little bit and keep the party rolling if the party needs to go beyond 1 hour. Because here's the thing, I can't stay too late tonight, and I know Chuggs can't either. So once that ball gets rolling in happy hour, I'd like to be able to extend that and then get through the 3 cuts that we have here early on today's program. Bro is crazy from Miguel Gomez. Me? I think he's talking about Justin Tucker. Yeah. Also, yes. I did not see all. Yeah, that's kind of wild. He's outing them. Yeah, it's not good, man. It's
Reporter Benjamin Albright is tweeted multiple times basically saying that it's a fact that Justin Tucker did this. His latest tweet says, and I quote, "You can't claim you didn't know until recently if multiple women contacted your organization prior to 2018.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Though, again, I'm always a little bit concerned about Albright just because there's a lot of things that I don't know if people know about him. But at the same time, it is what it is. Really unfortunate for everybody that's involved. Oh, crap. David Uzon! Bang! I already knew that some craziness was going to happen here on today's show. Zon, I got a beer bong for you, man, but this is how I'm going to get happy hour started. So we're going to save this one. We're going to table it, okay? We're going to table it, and as soon as happy hour starts, when we put this super chat back up on screen, that is the official start of Venthrac happy hour. If y'all don't spam David's on, if you're not ready to bring that David's on energy, then I'm telling you this right now, you are not going to like the final hour of our show today. Also, huge shout out to John Spytek in the DMs on IG. Appreciate you, John. Hopefully everything's going really, really smooth this year for the Raiders. So, Venthrac is here. Venthrac. So, essentially, I'm going to tell everybody the deals. We're going to end the Venthrac happy hour, I would say, in about 75 minutes from now. So, just stay tuned and be ready to go. You ready to get into the very first news and rumors? Because it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. Patrick B. Bang! Again, we got to table it. Venthrac says, I'm still working. We're going to wait until you're done working, and then we're going to celebrate these bangs again. That I promise you, man. That's 2 beer bonks already on tap for happy hour. Hopefully y'all are ready to get going. Let's get into the news and rumors here on today's show. We got 3 full segments, and then we'll get into Venthrac happy hour. Put on those drinking pants. Today's going to be a fun one. Coming up today here on the Raiders Report, we got some news that everybody from the nation needs to see in case you haven't seen it yet. And then we're going to talk some juicy rumors because I want to be able to get into the latest news and rumors around the Raiders. And some of the rumors that we're going to talk about today are very eye-popping stories, reports that you're kind of hearing around the nation. And I'm going to tell you whether it's tuck rule, tuck that, or whether it's just believe it, baby. Let's go to the very first thing, and here's the news that happened today. First off, Patrick Graham coming back for the Raiders. Chuggs and I were live late last night kind of talking about the Josina Anderson report, saying it's only a matter of time. When you hear the vernacular or the terminology that they're already working on a deal, it means that that deal is going to get done. The deal officially did not get signed, from what I understand, until about 11:30 p.m. Eastern time, which I'll be honest, I was already asleep. So this is already a done deal. Rob Leonard is also back, which actually has not been announced yet by the Raiders organization. But I'm telling you this, Rob Leonard is back. And here's the best part. Maybe not the best part, because PG and Rob Leonard coming back is great. But this is, again, that cherry on top where I talked about it earlier in the week, saying if the Raiders are serious about extending Crosby, watch for them to potentially bring back Rob Leonard. Watch for them to bring back somebody like Patrick Graham. And Max Crosby loves the fact that the Raiders bought these two guys back. So how about this? When you got the news today that Patrick Graham coming back, Rob Leonard coming back, I don't know about y'all, I looked at my phone and I'm just like, let's freaking go, dude. If those news items got you like this, smash that like button right now, because I know this 98 is absolutely loving it. But let's talk about the Raiders rumors here on today's show. Should the Raiders bring back Antonio Pierce? Could the Raiders potentially hire Tom Cable? And then the last thing is Jaxson Dart impressing the Raiders down at the Senior Bowl. The question that I keep getting asked on social media, Twitter, Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365, since the Raiders are bringing back Patrick Graham and the Raiders are bringing back Rob Leonard, and since Pete Carroll and John Spytek have kind of talked about keeping continuity, does it make sense to bring back Antonio Pierce? This has been a question that I've seen talked about in many, many different areas, and I'm somebody that's going to sit up here and tell you this. Should the Raiders bring back Antonio Pierce? Absolutely, positively not. Tuck rule, tuck that. If you see anybody out there going, it's smart for the Raiders to bring back AP, I want you to send them this video. I also want you to send them to me, because I'll quickly tell them it doesn't make any sense, dude. The reason why that it doesn't make any sense is because, yeah, I understand the fact that you brought back PG and you brought back Rob Leonard, but let's be honest, Patrick Graham and Rob Leonard are better coaches, better defensive minds than Antonio Pierce. The other objective for a team in the offseason is to improve in every way. I'm going to be real. Mike Caldwell is a better linebacker coach than somebody like AP. On top of that, if you're trying to build continuity, bringing back AP, I actually think could potentially cause division in the locker room, because you're going to have some guys that are going to go, well, that's my head coach. And the other teams are going to go, oh, well, that guy's my head coach. So all I'm saying is this, and I have the utmost respect for AP, but at the same time, I'm not doing my job correctly if I just let things like this slide. AP was somebody that I wanted to work out for the Raiders, but at the end of the day, bringing back Antonio Pierce is not going to happen, and if it does end up happening, well then, damn it, I don't know what the hell this organization is even doing. I also saw this tweet early this morning from Tashawn Reed, and I wanted to put this out there because it was something that I believe Raider fans needed to see. Carroll has been assisted by GM John Spytek with hiring his coaching staff per sources. That's common in the NFL, but it does not represent a change for the Raiders. But it does represent a change for the Raiders. Last year, former GM Tom Telesco was hands-off when it came to former head coach Antonio Pierce filling out his staff. So here are my three biggest things that I want you to take away from that tweet. First, the Raiders are acting like a smart franchise this offseason. The opposite of being a smart franchise would actually be to bring in Antonio Pierce if that's what Pete Carroll and John Spytek were to do. Also, Antonio Pierce is the one that hired Luke Getsy. I don't know how many more times I got to say. AP is the one that hired Getsy. There's another report that confirms it. So if you're the Raiders and you know that you need to be able to bring in the proper pieces from a coaching standpoint, I think AP's already showed you that he had the opportunity, did fall a little bit short. Yeah, I would have liked to see what Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels looks like. But the bottom line is this. We need to move on, and bringing back Antonio Pierce simply doesn't make any sense. Coming up here next on the show, should the Silver and Black hire Tom Cable? I can remember back in my Mitchell Renz, Facebook, Silver Jacket Days talking about Tom Cable. And in fact, if anybody wants to watch a funny video of me back in the day, go on YouTube, look up Tom Cable, look up the name Chris Warren, look up the name Raiders Report. I do a full show on both of those guys. Kind of put me in a little bit of a time machine, man. I'll get into, though, whether or not I want the Raiders to hire Tom Cable. But first, I got to show some love to our sponsor here, Prize Picks. The big game, man. It's right around the corner. I'm going to watch the game. Hopefully, you all tune in with Jeremy Chuggs and I. And whether you want to pick more or less on a stat projection, you might as well pick the more on Patrick Mahomes passing yards because, I hate to break it to you, he's going to throw for more than one passing yard. And the big game is almost here, so it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for the big game, where on the starting quarterback, as you can see, Patrick Mahomes is only going to need to throw for 1 yard to win. If you're correct on at least one more stat projection, you can win real cash. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks run your game. If anybody was like, all right, Mitch, I would like to be able to do that, those links are down in the comments. They're down in the description of today's show. Huge shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring the Raiders Report. Should the Raiders hire Tom Cable? For those that do not know who Tom Cable is, he is the former offensive line coach for the Silver and Black. I believe it was from 2018 to 2021. Was also, though, like previously with the Raiders and has been a part of many regimes, the most importantly with Pete Carroll from, I want to say, 2011 to 2017. And this has been a name that's been brought up in some NFL circles of the Raiders could potentially be interested. So should the Raiders hire Tom Cable? We gotta disconnect the cable. We're on YouTube here. I want no part of Tom Cable. If the Raiders should hire him, this is another tuck rule, tuck that. So there was an article from The Athletic that said the Raiders could be interested in Tom Cable. For those that do not know, again, Cable was the Seattle offensive line coach under Darrell Bevell from 2011 to 2017. I personally think that the reason why Cable's name is being brought up again is because a lot of times people look at connections, and I do the exact same thing, right? I always look at this coach has a connection here, this player has a connection here. It's what people should do when you look at candidates and what you look at for, jobs. Think about you. If you've ever gotten a job, it's probably because maybe you had a certain network connection that helped you get that job. My point is this, though. I know that Tom Cable's got Pete Carroll connections. I know that Darrell Bevell's got connections with Tom Cable. But Tom Cable is a horrific, and I mean terrible offensive line coach. And we can do so much better than Tom Cable. I saw a quote from Pro Football Rumors on Cable, which I think just provided a little bit more context on the relationship Tom has with Pete Carroll. So I'm going to read through those quotes, and then I'll keep on giving you some analysis on what they had to say. Carroll also has a past with ex-Raiders head coach Tom Cable, and The Athletic indicates that new Vegas leader is interested in reuniting with his former O-line coach. Cable has already enjoyed 2 stints with the Raiders. The first was more memorable as it featured him taking over for Lane Kiffin during the 2008 season and keeping the Oakland head coach job through the 2010 slate. Cable went 17-27 as the Raiders head coach, though a chunk of that time came with Jamarcus Russell at quarterback. Cable joined Bevell in Seattle from 2011 to 2017, serving as Seahawks offensive line coach, and returned to the Raiders to work under John Gruden in the same capacity. Cable, 60 years old, has not coached since spending the 2021 season with the Raiders. Reuniting the Carroll, Bevell, Cable trio on offense may not be the most inspiring route for the Raiders, but it certainly would supply experience. And this is the type of experience that I don't want, right? Like, the other day I was on Instagram, and that picture of, like, that girl, that blonde that's holding up, like, I slept with 1,000 men in 24 hours. That's experience that I don't want. And to me, Tom Cable's the experience that I don't want. You can do so much better of a job bringing in an offensive line coach, and I'm not kidding you. For the Raiders to bring in Bevell, if they were to do Bevell and Tom Cable, I would look at that and I'd go, oh, man. That's really, really bad news here. So you tell me, do you want the Raiders to hire Tom Cable? Give me a yes, give me a no. And the reason why I'm asking this question is because there is a lot of different opinions on Cable, where I'm somebody that's going to stay true to me, and I'm going to go, no, I don't think he's a good coach. Now, I hear a lot of other people, they go, oh, I actually like Tom Cable. There's been some NFL players that have said he's done a great job, and you go back and you look at some past regimes, some are good, some are bad. That's how Tom Cable has been throughout his entire career. I'm seeing a lot of no's right now, and I'm glad that I'm seeing that because Tom Cable would be a disaster, I think, on the Raiders. Now, there's always a chance that could work. But I think you also got to learn from history, and you also just got to go back and look at what Tom Cable has done in recent years. So when you go and look, and the reason why that I'm going to say no is because, again, when you look at everything that Cable has tried to do in the past, and then on top of what the Raiders have tried to do in the past, it's not always the best situation. Like for me personally, there are still plenty of better offensive line coaches out there. You can find a better name. If he's hired, the only way that I can possibly think of the reason why it makes any sense is because he does have that Carroll-Bevel connection, and those do all have continuity. But this has got to scare people. Cable runs a zone blocking scheme. It's very similar to the same scheme that James Craig ran last year. I'm not saying that it's going to be the exact same result, but that's not the right offensive line for what we have right now. And yeah, you're going to switch up some stuff because you get a brand new regime in here. But again, going with Tom Cable is like going to a steak restaurant and getting something off the kids' meal. We can do better. Let's go to the final rumor here on today's show. Shout out to Nab, man. We'll get you here in a moment. Jaxson Dart, is he impressing the Las Vegas Raiders? This one's for just win babies. Believe it, baby. I had an interesting conversation this morning with some people down at the Senior Bowl, and when the amount of smoke right now that is around Dart, it's starting to grab my attention because not only am I getting a lot of questions on this show, the people that are talking to me about Dart have me listening. And according to a source, he's the best quarterback at the Senior Bowl. I saw that he struggled on day one. I was told that he had a good bounce back. He's got good arm talent. Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward aren't there, which I do think deserves to be put into context because, well, if those two guys aren't there, then that gives Jaxson Dart a little bit of a better chance to be a better overall quarterback, right? I mean, that's just the truth, obviously. In terms of the other quarterbacks, though, that are at the Senior Bowl, there's some other names that we've talked about, like a Dylan Gabriel, like a Jalen Milroe. But I'm telling you this right now, Jaxson Dart is starting to grab the attention of a lot of important people for that Raiders organization. And this is going to be somebody that I got to do more homework on. Because when I watch the tape, there's a lot of inconsistencies that do scare me a lot. But then I'm also somebody that's going to sit up here and talk about relationships. I'm also somebody that's going to sit up here and talk about connections, talk about stability. And when you look at a lot of the connections that Jaxson Dart has, you're going to sit here at the end of the show and you're going to go, oh, man, this guy might actually be the Raiders quarterback. So here's some of the other quarterbacks at the Senior Bowl. Again, Milroe, Gabriel, these are the two that I would say who I'm comparing Dart to. Seth Hennigan, Tyler Schall from Louisville and Memphis, and then Taylor Elgersma, who's a Canadian Football League quarterback. In terms of Dart, though, potentially coming to the Raiders, the reason why I think that this is starting to gain some steam is because I don't know if the Raiders are 100% sold on Shedeur or Cam Ward, and I also don't know if they want to trade up. So are you going to be able to get somebody at 6? Maybe. Do you want to trade up and give up all that draft capital? I don't think that they do. So because Dart isn't expected to go in round 1, that helps out the Raiders. The Raiders have a second-round pick, and they have 2 third-round picks. That's plenty of picks to help you move up into the draft. Also, Pete Carroll worked with Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin, who you guys know very well, from 2001 to 2006. Tom Cable also worked with Lane Kiffin. On top of that, he was high school teammates with Jackson Powers Johnson in Utah. And Dart was asked this weekend about playing with JPJ, and he had this to say: I'd love that. That's my boy. It would be amazing, and we could also be close to home. When there is the amount of rumors, reports that are starting to pop up here around Dart, I got to do a better job of watching, listening, and I want you all to just keep in mind of Dart, because if the Raiders do actually want to have a bridge QB, have Dart learn for a year or two, that's a lot more of a likable option than just throwing Jaxson out there right away. So I am going to ask for help, though, and I've been asking for help a lot because Dart's been a quarterback that I haven't been afraid to sit up here and go, I don't love him, and I don't love him. So because so many people seem to love Jaxson Dart, What's a game that I got to watch this weekend that's going to make me fall in love with Jaxson Dart? And if I know this, if I see these comments down below, it also means that you made it this far in the video. And I believe this. If you can make it this far in the video, I can also take your recommendation and go watch some Jaxson Dart tape. So let's talk about these three quarterbacks here. If you could pick only one to draft, JD for Jaxson Dart, JM for Jalen Milroe, DG for Dillon Gabriel. And let's just say this, all in the second round. Second round. Because I don't want to do Dillon in the third or fourth, Jalen maybe in the third. Let's just say second round pick. At number 37 on the board, who's the guy that you're taking? Are you going to go Dart? You're going to go Milroe? You're going to go Dillon Gabriel? Let me know down below what y'all are thinking. I'm seeing a lot of JDs from Darren, I also see another one from Agent Red, Jesse Felix, Raider 58. I see a JM down there below from Big Game Hunter.
I'd probably go with
Bang! Celebrate the Raiders today in Venthrac. Of course, I can't let Patrick B and David Zahn get hung out. I got you. I expect a max extension and more guaranteed money coming soon. Good authority tells me OC will be Bevel. Expect this in 48 hours. I'm just saying. Hey, man, I'm looking out. I do think that the Raiders are going to make some decisions on that offensive staff sooner rather than later as well. And it's going to be one hell of a time. Patrick B! Bang! We have a new member, I'm hearing. Welcome to Mount Raidermore. He's not in yet, but if I have any indication of how I think this show is going to go today, I'm pretty confident that he's going to have the opportunity to get in on today's episode. Today's going to be fun day, man. Today's going to be a really, really fun day. I'm telling you that. And if you guys are looking to let your hair down, looking to have a little bit of fun, we are going to wait until Venthrac gets off of work. So Venthrac, when you get off work today, that's when we'll officially get into the Venthrac happy hour. But yes, man, I already got 3 on tap, and they're just going to have to be one after another after another. Well, up, Conscience. We'll be in Dallas February 20th to the 23rd. I'll say this. I would love to be able to grab beers. Unfortunately for you, though, February 20th is my birthday, and it's also the day before my dad comes into town, February 19th until the 23rd. I'm always down to grab beers, but you also got to understand my dad's my dude, and I don't really get to see him often. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be out and about. I'm going to be chilling with my dad, Alex, and we're going to be hanging at the house for my birthday. But I greatly, greatly appreciate you letting me know. And I'm not kidding you. If it was any other days, I'd be down to grab beers. I've grabbed beers all the time with Raiders fans. And I think for anybody that's, in the chat right now that's ever grabbed beers with me, if I have the opportunity to do it, just like if I have an opportunity to do a podcast, I'm going to do it. I love hanging out with y'all. I don't know if you guys know that or not. Real Cowboy, instead of saying Tuck Rule, use a pick of TB since he's an owner now. I don't hate this idea. What's kind of crazy is when we came up with the whole, it used to be Chucky heads because of Gruden, and we used to always say Tuck Rule, Tuck that because of Tom Brady. Now with Brady on our side, I don't know. I might have to switch it up here a little bit.
The mailbag's just for free agency, right?
I mean, we can ask draft questions as well. I don't think it's that bad. I was thinking like trade free agency for the mailbag, but if you want to get some drafts in there too.
Okay, well, we just had this one from BA. You want to answer it now or in the?
Let's answer it in the mailbag because I wanted to keep it all that kind of stuff.
So Saul, Raider Tone, BA, your questions are making it to the mailbag. They're pretty good. I like them.
Cool. Renee, I'm chilling in my back seat with a woman watching the Raiders news with Mitch at the same time. Can I get a Raiders?
At the same damn time. At the same damn time. At the same damn time. At the same damn time.
I mean, I'm a little bit concerned what you're doing in that back seat, and I'm just worried that we're not the only ones banging here on the Raiders Report today, Chuggs. Sounds like Renee might be doing the exact same thing.
We're going to kind of push it through because we want to get to the fun stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go to this next segment. It's going to be the top free agents that Mitch wants to see with the silver and black after the Patrick Graham news.
So we got this one, then we got a mailbag, and then it's Venthrac Happy Hour. Venthrac Happy Hours, I'm going to say start in about 50, 45 minutes from now. It's going to be one hell of a time, that I can guarantee. Chuggs, you ready to get it going? Y'all ready to get it going? Coming up, let's talk about some free agents that I want the Raiders to sign for Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham is back for the Silver and Black, and coming up here on today's show, I'm going to tell you the top 5 free agents that if I were to sit down in a room with Tom Brady, PG, John Spytek, Pete Carroll, I would say these are the top 5 free agents that I want the Raiders to go out and target during NFL free agency. If you don't know when free agency is, it starts March 12th, which is a Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're also going to be live for every single day of free agency. Like, I bet you the first 4 days of free agency, we're probably live for 30-something hours of that. And with $92.3 million, the second most in the NFL, this team's going to be active. Pete Carroll already said it. This is not a rebuild, so I expect them to be a very aggressive franchise. And with 28 total free agents, they have a lot of holes that they need to be able to fill. Don't get me wrong. I want the Raiders to try to bring back some of our players, and I'll kind of go through some of those names here. But this is going to be a very, very active free agency. And now that we know who our DC is, let's go get some talent on the defensive side of the football. If you want to hang out with Chuggs and I during free agency, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. Anytime the Raiders sign a big-name guy, I will be live. Anytime the Raiders do anything, you will get a video. It's a lot of content. It's also the time where I think sometimes we have the most fun on this show is during free agency. So please pull up. And if you're a real one, make sure you're showing love the entire week. Let's go to the very first name here of free agents that I want the Raiders to target for Patrick Graham. And the first name is this. I should also mention these are not ranked in any way. It's just if you were to tell me I need 5 names, these are the 5 names that I'm going to target. First guy coming up here is Miami Dolphins safety Jevon Holland. And when I go back and I think about some of the players that I fell in love with in the draft, Holland was one of those dudes coming out of Oregon. I loved his versatility. I love that. I thought that he's going to be a good center fielder in the NFL. And to me, that's a very important role. He's the top safety in NFL free agency. And for an organization that's trying to build a little bit of stability, you want to tell me he's only 24 years old. He's going to be 25 to start the season, but 60 games under his belt, 57 starts at that young age. That's how you start to build a really good foundation for the long haul. From a career stat standpoint, he's only played in the league for 4 years, 62 tackles last season, 4 PBUs. In 2023, also had a good year. But when you look at these years, so many different defensive coordinators, and I know they've been able to keep the same head coach, but he's had a lot of different moving parts on that defense, and he's still been able to put up some good numbers. I'll admit, 2024 was probably his worst year that he had in his entire career, which maybe you're going to be able to get him a little bit cheaper, the 63.0 overall PFF grade. Somebody that can defend the run, somebody that can cover, but like, the reason why I am willing to spend some good money on Holland this offseason is because of what he was able to do in 2023, what he was able to do in a Vic Fangio style of defense. And when I think of a Vic Fangio defense now, Fangio was with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a tough, physical defense that allows its players to be athletes. And that's the type of defense that I believe you're going to see Pete Carroll do with somebody like Patrick Graham. Also, we need some help here in the secondary. Isaiah Paul-Lamal, Trevon Merrick, Marcus Epps are all free agents. Trey Taylor's a 7th-round pick. Chris Smith is from the Josh McDaniels regime. Harper, let's be honest, I don't have a lot of faith in him long-term. So why exactly would I target Holland? Because our top 3 safeties are all free agents, and you're probably only going to be able to bring back 2. If I had to guess, Isaiah Paul-Mal will be somebody the Raiders bring back. Merrick would be the other name to throw out there. On top of that, he worked with safety coach Gerald Alexander in 2021. Again, at the time that I'm making this video, I know that PG's back. I know Rob Leonard's back. I'm pretty confident. Oh my God, who is it? The cornerback coach, Ricky Manning Jr., he's going to be coming back, so I'm hoping that Gerald Alexander is also going to be able to get back. But having a versatile safety is very critical in Patrick Graham's defense. It's also very critical. Go back and look at the Seattle defenses with Earl Thomas. Jevon Holland can be a better version than Earl Thomas. At least I think so. So here's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. PG's back. We know Rob Leonard's back. Who's the top defensive free agent you want the Raiders to sign for Patrick Graham? I'm not saying that my top guy is Byron Murphy Jr., but he's obviously in my top 5. And this is the next name that I'm going to bring up here on today's show, sponsored by Game Time. Murphy is coming off a career year at age 26. And I can remember a few years ago, me sitting up here on this show going, the Raiders need to go out and they need to get Byron Murphy because the Arizona Cardinals weren't using him in the correct way. He's had 9 interceptions in the past 2 seasons in Minnesota. 6 last season, 3 in 2023. But he's also a versatile slot corner. And for a lot of the people that watch the show all the time, versatility is, like I use the word versatility with PG the same way that we've been using stability with Max and Pete Carroll. In 2024, his coverage stats, he was picked on 114 times, only gave up 75 completions. I get that's a lot of targets, but that's also a football team that was winning a lot of games. 792 yards, allowed 4 touchdowns. That's a good PBU to interception number, quarterback rating at 75.6. And also, he can do, again, a lot of different things. Like, I know that we're worried about losing Nate Hobbs, and we'll talk about Hobbs here in a moment, but that 72.8 overall PFF grade, you combine that with the ability to tackle, you combine that with the ability to drop back into coverage, and again, he's a young player at 26 years old. But when you look at the Raiders' cornerback depth chart, Nate Hobbs is a free agent. Sam Webb, Kai Blue Kelly are exclusive rights free agents, so if the Raiders wanted to bring them back, they could. Darnay Holmes is a free agent. And the reason why that I'm going out and I'm targeting Murphy, don't get me wrong, Murphy's going to cost some money. Javon Holland's going to cost some money. But I could make the argument that Nate Hobbs and Byron might just be a little bit more money. And the Nate Hobbs injuries is why I'm going to go with Murphy. I know Hobbs is a hell of a player. We all know Nate Hobbs is a hell of a player. But he can't stay on the field. So would I rather find somebody who's 26 years old, basically the same age as Hobbs, somebody that's been able to show that he can get it done? On top of that, are they going to bring back Jack Jones? Jack Jones was absolute booty cheeks last season, and hasn't been good on any team that hasn't had Antonio Pierce. Versatility is key in Patrick Graham's defense, so that's why I'm looking at Javon Holland, Byron Murphy Jr. I still got 3 more names coming up here on the show. Before I tell you who those 3 names are, it's Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Huge shout-out to them for sponsoring today's live programming. If you're planning on going to the big game, well, I need you to listen up because Game Time is focused on bringing people together in 2025. Also, Game Time's got a brand new feature called the Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Also, one of the things that I love about the Game Time app is that you can use it for the all-in pricing to help you get the lowest price guarantee. Also, you're not going to get hit with those crazy checkout fees. The flash deals, so you can see even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to Game Time. If you're somebody that gets stressed about buying tickets, take the stress out of it because I want you to have a good time from start to finish. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. If you're sitting there going, Mitch, what time is it? I'm just simply here to tell you that it's Game Time. The link's going to be down in the comments. It's down in the description. If you want to go to a comedy event, if you want to go to a theater event, if you plan on taking a trip to Vegas or any new city over the weekend, Game Time is the perfect app for you. Let's go to the next name coming up here on my Raiders free agent targets for Patrick Graham. I'm going to go Carlton Davis III, cornerback of the Detroit Lions. And this is another person that I'm not going to lie. I just said all those things about Nate Hobbs, and I'm going to bring up Davis because when he's healthy, I think he's actually one of the best corners in the National Football League. He was traded to the Detroit Lions, and he was able to provide stability right away for a young secondary. And I would look at what Davis did early on in Detroit, and I would go, well, that's what the Raiders need to do. You got a young guy in Ja'Cory and Bennett. Outside of that, there's a lot of very unknown parts to the secondary. So if Davis is able to come in right away, show you that he can help build this defense, that's what you love to see. Also, that physicality, I would almost make the argument, is kind of like that perfect style and a Pete Carroll system. People are going to come after him. He's not afraid to tackle. You see his coverage stats up there on the screen. And then the last 4 seasons, he has not been able to stay on the field. 13, 12, 13, 10 games played over the past 4 seasons. So there's no doubt there is an injury concern, but the tape, the numbers, the film, it doesn't lie. 77.7 run defense grade according to PFF, a 72.1 overall coverage grade, which is obviously what I'm looking for, but I'm also looking for an outside corner. because not only am I looking for a slot guy like Byron Murphy to take Nate Hobbs' job, I'm also looking for somebody that I can put on the outside. And let's face it, Jack Jones was just not physical enough. And I know he's got 1 year left on his contract, but I just don't think he brings the physicality that Pete Carroll, that this defense is going to want moving forward. So for that reason, I am going to just continuously look at somebody like Carlton Davis. And you might be wondering, Mitch, well, why exactly would the Raiders go out and get him? There's a lot of connections there, and the first connection is John Spytek. John Spytek was a part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers regime that brought him into Tampa, and he was very good for that Tampa Bay team. The Raiders also need an outside cornerback next to Jacorian, and Jacorian could learn a lot, I think, from somebody like Carl Davis. Nate Hobbs has played outside a little. He is a free agent. So if we think we're going to lose Jack Jones and Nate Hobbs, yeah, guess what? We are definitely going to have to look at a corner. And if we can only get one, I'm okay picking either Carlton Davis or Byron Murphy. If it was up to me, I would pick Byron Murphy due to price and due to the overall health factors. We got a few more players to get into here on today's show. Again, we are looking at players to bring in for Patrick Graham's defense in free agency. So what's the Raiders' biggest need right now on D? Because there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of needs. There's no doubt about it. And I was going to sit here and I was going to rank them, but I could legitimately do a show on every single one of the needs. And I'm just here to tell you this. There isn't a single spot on that Raiders defense that isn't a need. We need defensive tackles. We need a nose. We need a regular 3-tech, right? Like, we need edge rushers. We need defensive ends. We need inside linebackers. We need a middle linebacker. We need a strong safety. We need a free safety. We need a slot corner. We need an outside corner. This team needs a lot of help on defense, and I'm not afraid to spend big if I need to spend big in free agency. Let's go to another name here. It's at the linebacker position. It's Bobby Wagner. And sooner or later, people are going to say that Wagner deserves to be on every NFL team. And Wagner is a name that I bring up every single offseason. It kind of reminds me of my Calais Campbell takes, where until Father Time proves that he's winning this battle, you got to sit up here and go, I think Bobby Wagner is going to have another 100 tackles, right? He's had 100 tackles in every year of his career, 13-year career, and he's still playing at a ridiculously high level at age 34. He hasn't missed a game, y'all, since 2018, so he's healthy. Yeah, he's up there in age, but he's still playing at a damn good level, and he's playing at like 1-year deals. We could probably bring him in on a 1-year prove-it deal, and he's going to go way beyond what you're paying him because he's done it for the last 4 or 5 years. Every defense he's been on, you've seen that unit come together. And I know that we looked at a lot of the times of somebody along the lines of Jaden Daniels, and obviously Jaden was great for that Commanders defense. But Bobby Wagner deserves a lot of credit, too, for being that player coach. I mean, look at these PFF grades, guys. 89.9 overall grade. Pass rush, run defense grade are great. I'm not worried about Wagner in the coverage game, though he still is able to do it at a very high level. But to me, one of the reasons why the Commanders were getting better and better at the end of the year, especially on defense, is because you have somebody in the middle of that defense that's as smart as they come in a Bobby Wagner. And the only way that you're still playing at a high level at 34 is if you absolutely positively love football. On top of that, the Raiders linebacker depth chart, Divine Diablo, Robert Spillane, both free agents. Kanai Malga, exclusive rights free agent. Luke Masterson, restricted free agent. So, like, we're going to have to spend some money no matter what at the linebacker position. And I think if you bring back Bobby, maybe you don't bring back Robert. But at the same time, why can't we bring back Robert Spillane and bring in Bobby Wagner? The fact that he was drafted by Pete Carroll in 2012, played 10 seasons with him. 10 seasons. That's a lot of winning with Pete. Also, Spillane and Diablo, free agents, maybe bring in Wagner. And he's just one of those dudes of a great player coach for a team that's trying to build an identity. I always say that the NFL is a copycat league. Look at what the Commanders did. New GM, new head coach, new OC, DC. You try to put some of these pieces together. Why aren't we going to try to bring in Bobby Wagner? Because if you're really trying to preach what Pete Carroll's trying to teach, I can't think of a better name on the defensive side of the football than Wagner. Let's go to the final name here for the Raiders free agent targets for Patrick Graham. And I'm going to go with Azeez Ojulari at defensive end. So the 5 names that I put up here, I think are the best blend of need, overall price tag, skill position, and connections with our GM, head coach, and Patrick Graham. When it comes to Azeez Ojulari, though, this is another name of somebody that I've talked about multiple times on the show. When healthy, is a great pass rusher. though he's missed 22 games the last 3 seasons. I will say this, our Giants guy Marshall said because the Giants did not trade him at the deadline, they would like to be able to bring him back, though the way that he said it kind of reminded me of the way that we would talk about somebody like Malcolm Kuntz of, we would like to bring him back, but he also is going to go out there and he's going to try to get paid. In his 30-game start, 22 sacks, 37 quarterback hits, and when you go through and look at his career numbers, he had a career year in 2021. That year in 2021 is the only season of his young career that he did it with Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham was a part of the regime that drafted Azeez in the 2nd round coming out of Georgia, and even though he's coming off a little bit of a down year, I get it, 6 sacks, but let's face it, that Giants defense was a good defense, had a lot of parts, especially on the defensive line, but for a young man who's battled injuries and is on a bad football team, it might be one of the things of, trouble staying motivated. But if we're going to bring in Rob Leonard, and if we're going to keep Patrick Graham as well, how would you not want to bring in Azeez Ojulari? Because Azeez has more talent than K'Lavon Chaisson. I actually think he's got more talent than Malcolm Kuntz. I think he's got more talent than Janarius Robinson, Charles Snowden, and we've seen all these defensive line players really prove that they can get the job done for the Raiders. So to me, I'm just connecting the dots and I'm going, Azeez is going to be another standout player. Who knows? Maybe he gets 8 sacks again. So why would you target Azeez? Kuntz and Chaisson are free agents. You're going to probably bring back 1. You might be able to afford 2. But I'll also say Kuntz is going to be more expensive than Azeez. So if you wanted to bring in Azeez and Chaisson and then concentrate on some other players, could be an option. PG was the Giants' offensive coordinator in 2021 when they drafted him in the 2nd round. 8 sacks with Patrick Graham. This is why I would want the Raiders to target Azeez Ojulari. Now, obviously, there's a lot of names out there. And I just tried to put together the best list overall for the Raiders, for Patrick Graham, for this defense. I can also understand that I bet you there's going to be some people out there going, Mitch, I thought you're somebody that likes to win in the trenches. Where are the defensive tackles at, Mitch? I don't have any defensive tackles on this list because I want the Raiders to go out and I want them to bring back Adam Butler and I want them to use Tyree Wilson a little bit more as a DT. If you're able to do that, then you're going to be able to allocate some of that other money to some of those players that I just mentioned. On top of that, DTs get paid a lot of money. Edge rushers get paid a lot of money. And I know we have a lot of money in salary cap, but we also have to bring back a lot of those dudes. So to me, you can bring back Butler at a reasonable price, and then you can go spend in some of those other areas out there because you still have to leave money for the offensive line and free agency. If you want to look at a video that went out early today on Thursday, January 30th, it's Raiders free agents and who Pete Carroll, who John Spytek, and I did record this before the Patrick Graham news happened, though Patrick Graham and Rob Leonard were in the back of my mind during this video, and I break down the top 5 free agents that I would want the Raiders to re-sign, which is very important based off of how I made this video. So if you enjoyed this video here, go check out this video. It's down in the comments and in the description of today's show. All right, y'all, so after hearing all those names being thrown at you, name 1 free agent that you think that the Raiders should sign on defense. And I just wanted to look at defense because all we know right now is Patrick Graham. We don't know who the offensive side of the football is.
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald. I actually think if you wanted Aaron Donald, you'd have to trade for him. Because I believe he's still on the Rams. Just like you'd still technically have to trade for Andrew Luck on the Colts and Calvin Johnson on the Detroit Lions. I could go Wagner from Raider Gregory. I also want them to bring back Spillane. You know what I'm saying? Where this might be an unpopular opinion, Robert Spillane or Bobby Wagner. You could make an argument that Bobby Wagner would be the better guy to bring back for 1 year. Though, I would like to hope that we could figure out a way to bring back Robert Spillane and Bobby. Can we get both of them to happen? That'd be pretty dope. Aiden says Holland, Carlton Davis from Jeffrey.
The thing with Bobby is asking him to come to the Raiders is like asking somebody to choose between their mom and dad. Because you got Dan Quinn, who was his DC all those years in Seattle. He reconnected with Dan Quinn. And then you have Pete Carroll as head coach. So it's like, who do you love more, your mom or your dad? You gotta live with one.
I hear you. It is tough, which I'm not even going to lie. I didn't even think about the whole Dan Quinn thing. Yeah, shit. That's like, you have Sadie, and you go on one side, and Danny goes on the other, and you're like, all right, Sadie, go.
Yeah, choose.
All right, in that scenario, are you Pete Carroll or are you Dan Quinn?
Oh, Carroll.
Carroll? I don't know what I am. Though I'm very confident Chuck would pick me. Is Sadie picking you? Yeah? Okay.
Oh,
yeah. I think if you tied a bacon dress to Alex, Chuck still might pick me. Chuck's my guy, man. Miguel, mom all the way for Miguel. Hey, I love my mom too. Did you see the random Texans news? The Texans have requested to interview former Eagles OC and current Commanders pass game coordinator Brian Johnson.
That's actually what I was messaging Chase about.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Because he was the Eagles OC last year.
Yeah. He was a popular name until he was quickly not a popular name anymore.
Yeah, he went out of favor with the Eagles pretty quickly. Kind of, I think somewhat scapegoated too, because there was other problems with that Eagles team.
No doubt about it. Yeah, and it's been very well documented that locker room last year was not a close locker room. Hence why they fell off at the end of the season. Let's go to Renee. What up, Renee? The two biggest reasons that will determine the Raiders' success this year will be who is their quarterback and who is their offensive coordinator. I'm not going to totally disagree with what you're saying here, right? Like, you need to have a good QB. You need to have a good offensive coordinator. I would almost say, though, offensive line has got to be a bigger point. And if you're going to be a team that's going to be balanced, like Pete Carroll's teams are going to be balanced, they're going to run the football, they're going to play good defense, and you have to be able to win in the trenches, but it's also nearly impossible to win in the league when you don't have a good QB or a good OC.
I see some really good questions in there from Ron,
okay,
from Mario. If you want to get your questions in, it's only NFL free agency.
Yes.
So if you have a question.
Or trades. I want to do free agency and trades.
Yeah, free agency or trades. #Raiders.
Yep. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to get into our mailbag coming up here on today's show. I'm going to answer questions from the nation for about 15 to 20 minutes. So if you want to get your questions on, now's your time to super chat or use #Raiders. After that, as far as I'm concerned, Venthrac, you got to let me know when you get off work. But if we don't hear anything from Venthrac, the plan is we might be able to start this happy hour at 4:20 our time, which high hopes for that. High hopes for that one.
Renee.
Hey, Mitch, I saw an H-Town come down when the Raiders come for the 2025 seasons. Let's go give them Houston fans some Raiders. So, funny you bring this up. Chuggs and I have actually discussed potentially coming down to Houston for that game. Obviously, we don't know when it is, but the Raiders will travel to Houston this year to play the Texans. Though I'm going to be in my silver and black stuff. Chuggs is going to be in his Texan stuff. I'm just going to warn y'all there, but because Chuggs does a lot of stuff for us for Texans fans. He's got a lot of people that support him over there. So I'll tell you this. I don't want to hear, oh, Chuggs this and that. Chuggs does a lot for us here. Let's go to Can't Walk. Prediction. Pete Carroll retires in 2 seasons. Patrick Graham becomes head coach. Rob Leonard promoted to DC. Sure, definitely could happen. Like, I think Pete wants to try to get those 3 years in because he's got 3 years with a 4th-year option thrown in there. So that's the plan. If Pete retires, I agree that Patrick Graham's probably the next guy and then Rob Leonard's probably the next guy. And it is a great way to create a little bit of stability inside of that Raiders organization. There's no doubt about that one. All right, y'all. #Raiders.
I will say, if we do go down to Houston, I've got some spots to show you.
Yeah?
Yeah, but some of my favorite food spots.
If you're willing to drive.
Yeah, I mean, I make the drive like 7 or 8 times a year regardless.
I don't want to drive. So.
I mean, I literally go. I mean, if I told my mom, like, hey, I got to come down for work, she would be the most happy person in the world. Because she wants me. If it was up to her, I would drive down to Houston once a month.
If you drive, I'll pay for gas.
That's fine.
All right. Yeah, because I'm not driving. I'm just telling you right now, I'm not driving.
It takes just a tank for me to get down from Dallas to Houston, so it's like $30 each way.
All right, you're welcome.
Can you swing that?
Yeah, I think I can do it. If it would have been.
You're like, dude, I thought it was going to be much more. Fuck, dude.
Jeremy's like, I might get a Hummer for the trip down. He's like, let's run that up.
We're actually going to take Danny's Jeep.
Ooh, let down the back. I'll bring Chuck and Sadie. It's going to be a hell of a party, man. All right, y'all, let's get into this mailbag, and then Raiders Thursday happy hour. It's about to go down. Again, the only way that happy hour is going to work, though, if we get some questions, we get some drinks flowing, and we show love to Venthrac. And I'll tell you what the deals are here in a moment.
It's happy hour, And we're not talking about Justin Tucker.
Yikes.
Different kind of happy hour.
Yikes, yikes, yikes. Coming up, let's talk about a mailbag. Let's, somebody's like, let's just tiptoe out of that one. Yeah. Mr. G, what wide receivers would you go after in free agency? It's a great question. You just got to put hashtag Raiders on the front of it. Because our system uses hashtag Raiders, which actually the other day I was in a live Raiders chat, and people were asking questions using hashtag Raiders.
David.
I loved it.
David's on. Ass, gas, or cash. Nobody rides for free, Mitch.
Ass, gas, or cash. Yikes. Or I could just do what I usually do, Zon. I could use my feet. Use my feet, Zon, just for you.
Dude, that is hilarious.
All right, y'all. Let's get into this mailbag. I'm going to answer questions for 15 to 20 minutes, and then we will get into Venthrac happy hour, though I want to make sure that he's here before we start it. So if I don't know if he's here yet, he told me that he would be here in a few minutes, so just keep a lookout for him. If anybody sees Venthrac down below, make sure you show him some love. You ready? You guys ready? Coming up here on the show, it's mailbag time. It's mailbag time here on the Raiders Report. I'm Mitchell Renz, and I'm answering all the questions from our live show on January 30th. We did a special live show showing love to Mount Raidermore's newest potential member, Venthrac. Yet to see if he made it or not. Tune into our Thursday live show. If you see any questions on this episode, I wanted them to all be around free agency, all for them to be around trades. So that's where the concentration is. And if you're like, hey, how can I get on a future show? Subscribe and join our live programs. Let's go to the first one coming in here from Sal. If Trey Smith from Kansas City ends up being a free agent, I think he would be a great pickup. Would rather spend money on O-line than a T. Higgins. And I agree with you. Where I know Higgins is a dog, but to me, I'm not going to spend big money on a wide receiver until I know what our quarterback situation is, right? Like, I don't need to go down the Devontae Adams train again. We saw you could have the most talented wide receiver in the league, but if nobody's throwing him the football, he's just kind of another receiver. For the Raiders to win, you need to be able to win in the trenches. Trey Smith's probably the top guard out there, though, I'm not going to lie, he might get too hefty of a bag, which does concern me a little bit, but also being able to steal him away from Kansas City is important. If the Raiders sign Trey Smith, I would not be upset about it at all. I would like it a lot, quite frankly. Let's go to Raider Tome. Trade for running back Travis Etienne from the Jags. Probably get him for a third-round pick in only 27. Respectfully, I think this is a really bad idea, and I say that because he's 27. He's had a lot of injury concerns. You're telling me I got to give up a third-round pick, and you're going to have to pay him. Like, I would just rather draft a back in the third round. You can get an Amari Hampton. You might be able to get a Caleb Johnson, a Scatabo, a Travion Henderson in the third round, right? Like, I would rather get a running back and have him on a rookie contract for 4 years instead of going out and trading for ATN because he's a better pass-catching back. You still then got to go out and find somebody that can run between the tackles. What do you think of McMillan at 6, best offensive tackle in the second, and Dylan Gabriel and Travion Henderson in the third? I don't love this draft, I'll be real. I would be pretty disappointed that this ended up being the draft. I love McMillan. He's a dog. He's probably the top wide receiver in this year's class. But again, Dylan Gabriel's not ready to start right away. Travion Henderson is a good running back. To me, there's better running backs that have better value in the third round. Best offensive tackle in the second. Depends who that is. Maybe it's the kid out of Arizona. I kind of answered this one already. I'm not going to take a wide receiver at 6 unless I know who our quarterback is. If the Raiders go out and they pay somebody like a Sam Darnold, maybe you go out and trade for a Dak. Maybe you pay somebody like Kirk Cousins, whoever, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. Then maybe that idea becomes a little bit more of a possibility. But even in that, I'm not drafting. I think the Raiders have too many other big fish to fry to take a receiver at number 6. Yes, I want to go best player available, but there's a lot of other better players at bigger positions of need for the silver and black. Let's go to Patrick here. Speaking of Sam Darnold, I know Russ and Gino had worked with Carroll before. What about Sam Darnold? What would it cost? Thanks, love the show. I would say that Russ and Gino is probably a higher probability than bringing in Sam Darnold, but again, I'm sitting on my computer today. Again, I'm filming this on January 30th, and I saw an article from The Athletic, and it was all around Darnold and how the Raiders could potentially be interested in him. The idea of the Raiders being interested in Darnold, I think, just stems from Pete Carroll's had success with quarterbacks in the past that have, people have given up on. Geno Smith is a good example of that. John Spytek had success with Baker Mayfield, another quarterback that people kind of gave up on. And if you're the Raiders and you don't want to go down the Aiden O'Connell train again, because I'm telling you, it's not going to be Aiden this season, could you potentially look at Darnold, who's coming off of a career year? So how about this? You guys get to call the shots here. Would you sign Sam Darnold? Give me a yes, give me a no, and if you tell me yes, tell me what you would pay him, because coming up here after this YouTube ad break, I'm going to give you my answer. I'm also going to tell you what I think it would cost to go get the former Viking QB. I'm going to say no. I don't want the Raiders to sign Darnold because I think it's going to cost more than what it would cost to go out and get somebody like Russell Wilson, where I think that you could get Russell Wilson at like 3 years, maybe like 70 to 75 million. The first 2 years are guaranteed. Or I think Darnold's going to get a contract somewhere around 3 for 100, and he's going to get a deal very similar to what Geno got, 3 for 100. If those numbers end up coming down, then that changes my idea here a little bit. But at the same time, if I'm just going to look at price tag, Sam Darnold being almost, 30% more than somebody like Russell Wilson, I don't love that idea. But if you told me, do I want Sam Darnold or Aiden O'Connell to start, I'll pick Sam Darnold every day of the week. Let's go to Curtis Bishop. Draft Genty, Milroe, TJ Sanders, Fairchild, sign Wilson, Metcalf, Byron Murphy. Yeah, you got to trade for Metcalf. And Wagner, keep Polamayo, Meredith, Chasen, Kuntz, Spillane, Merrig, and Adam Butler. I'll tell you what, yeah, you definitely got your money's worth. And this would be an interesting, because Polamayo you can bring back easily. Meredith you can pay at the vet minimum. Chasen you're not going to have to pay a lot of money for. Kuntz, you could see bring back Spillane, Merrick, Adam Butler. I love all those. I don't know if you're going to have enough money to do everything that you have in here because Wilson's going to cost money. And then, again, you still got to give Max Crosby an extension, and that extension is going to be at least $30 million a year. A lot of good ideas. Like, I like the Milroe pairing. I like that paired a lot with somebody like Russell Wilson because I keep saying this. If the Raiders draft Jalen Milroe, I want them to put him with Russell Wilson. Like, if they sign Wilson, one of the quarterbacks that I'm going to be looking at is, in fact, Jalen Milroe to learn for a year or two, preferably 2 years under Russ, under Tom Brady. What up, Nav Man? Our current defense free agent signing, Spillane, Epps, Malcolm, maybe, all right, Adam Butler, Merrick, looks like the equal of about $40 million. Janarius Robinson adds another 10. So, Janarius Robinson, I wouldn't bring back Robinson for $1.2 million. And, he ain't even going to – I don't think that he gets a $1.2 million contract. If he gets brought back, it would be, again, vet minimum, and that's what it would cost. For all these names here, I would say Spillane's got a good possibility. Epps at 29, I don't think is very likely. Malcolm Kuntz could be around 9, 10, 11, 12 million. Adam Butler, I could see getting about 8 or 9 mil. Merrick, I see probably being around 10. So, out of the names that you have here, you're probably going to have to pick 3. Because you're probably going to have to pick 3. You're going to have to allocate some of that money for the draft, allocate some of that money for a quarterback, allocate some of that money for, Max Crosby and any other extensions that we might give out this offseason. If you're a real one, click that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. We got over 1,000 people right now watching this live show, and I love when people hang out with us and tune into all of our programs here. We will go live every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, and when the offseason hits, we will go back to doing 2 live shows a week. I don't know exactly when they're going to be. It might be Friday happy hour again, but you will get at least 2 live shows every single week during the offseason. Let's go to Lamar. Would you trade for Joe Milton? As a tush-push quarterback, sure. If the New England Patriots said, hey, we'll give you Joe Milton for a 7th-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, I would show interest. I don't think Milton's ever going to be good enough to be like an everyday starter. I do think that he could have a role on a team. Again, being a tush-push QB, which I've said multiple times on this show, I think it's an important role that teams need to look at. Like, if you're going to keep a 6 linebacker, a fullback, or whatever, I want a tush-push QB where I can get 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. If you want Milton to turn into a potential starter, then no, that's just absolutely never going to happen. We got more questions coming up here in just a moment. Today's show, though, is sponsored by Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. The big game is almost here, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. Prize Picks is also giving away a free pick for the game, which happens to be on screen. It is Patrick Mahomes at 0.5 passing yards. I don't like Mahomes. Y'all don't like Mahomes. But guess what? I like putting money in my pocket. So you're dang right. I'm going to take more on Patrick Mahomes, and then I'm going to find another player. I'm going to pick more or less on one other dude, and I'm going to watch the winnings roll in. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run yo game. I was able to put some money in my pocket last week, and I'm going to put some more money in my pocket this week. Let's go to Ricky. What are your top running backs we could pick up in free agency? I am team, don't pay a running back in free agency. I am team, draft a running back, allocate your money that way. Though, if I had to guess which two backs could I see the Raiders maybe being the most interested in, I could see them maybe bringing back Amir Abdullah, but I would say the top two backs out there are Najee Harris. His physicality, his ability to catch the football kind of fits what Pete likes to do. Also say Aaron Jones. 1 year, maybe it's a cheap type of deal. He took $7 million last season. Can be a back that can catch the football, can run between the tackles, offers a lot of versatility, good pass blocker as well. Getting up there in age, sure, but that could be a good 1 year rental running back. And then you also draft somebody, and then you let Aaron Jones go in 2026, and whoever the kid that you drafted is, you let him be the bell cow going forward. What up, Ron? Would you go after Stephon Diggs at wide receiver? I would not. I think Stephon Diggs is going to try to stay in Houston, and even though it sounded like his relationship in Houston was okay, a lot of drama in Buffalo, and Stephon Diggs to me is a diva. And I am worried of bringing in divas into this locker room when we don't know what our quarterback situation is. Let's go to Skinbone 78. Also, Diggs can't block, and I think that we're going to try to be a more physical offense. Hey, yo, who is the OC going to be? Anyone, the Cheeks coaching staff that we could poach? Need to start dissembling them from the inside. You said Cheeks and dissembling from the inside. It makes me a little bit nervous. I'd say right now the top candidate is Darrell Bevell, and again, I don't know if that surprises anybody. There is yet to be a single name of saying, hey, the Raiders are 100% interested in this guy. Bevell's been a name that's been floated out there a bunch. Another name that's been floated out there is Bo Hardegree, and another name has been David Shaw. I did a video on all three of those candidates earlier in the week, so please go check it out. But if I was a betting man, I'd say Darrell Bevell right now is probably the front runner. What up, Can't Walk? Promote from within to create stability. System takes work. And this is what Jed Hughes has said. This is also what the Raiders are doing. And I think that a lot of that mentality is, you can see it. The Raiders are doing smart things this offseason. What up, Swab? What percentage would you give J.J. McCarthy still on the table? 1%. I don't think Minnesota's going to bring back Sam Darnold. I think they're going to roll forward with J.J. McCarthy. Now, obviously, if the Raiders offered the number 6 overall pick, maybe they would consider it. But if you're not willing to give up the number 6 overall pick, then J.J. McCarthy's a 0% chance of happening. Let's go to a Raiders fan. If Tom Brady picks the OC, who do you think he would want? If Tom Brady got the pick, I think he's just going to lean on his coaching staff, and I'm just going to guess that they're going to go with Darrell Bevell, where that seems to be the front runner right now. If it was up to me, I would pick Mike LaFleur. Let's go to Christian Tate. You're next up here on the show. What does an Aiden trade look like? Yikes. So again, I only brought up Aiden O'Connell's name before in trades because when Josh McDaniels went to the New England Patriots, I sat up here and I went, it wouldn't surprise me if McDaniels traded for him. I also know that I did a video recently where I said it does sound like the Raiders are going to go bridge QB, and I do still stand on the fact that I think that the Raiders are going to go with a bridge QB. So with that being said, that means that they're probably going to move on from Aiden O'Connell. Just because I've had this conversation so many times already at the Chat Sports Studios, we just get graphics built because we have Patriot shows, we have all shows for all these different teams. This is the trade that I said that I think that I would do if I was the Raiders. The Raiders receive a 5th and a 7th round pick. The Patriots get Aiden O'Connell and a 6th. So for New England, they have 3 7th rounders, no 6th round picks. For the Raiders, we have 5 6th round picks. So I figured it was a good shift. If you think that you're just going to get like a 4th for Aiden or not, this is a fair value for the overall player that O'Connell is. And again, I could see them trying to go out and get him. I would say the number 1 trade destination for Aiden would be New England. I'd also throw out the Miami Dolphins because they want to have a good backup there for Tua Tagovailoa. But I just think that if you can get value for somebody that started 17 games, has played in 20 at the QB position, when you know he's not going to be your long-term answer, this is the time to actually trade him is this offseason, because after this year, his value will end up going down a little bit. Let's go to Raider Prime. What would you trade to the Seahawks for DK and Tariq Woolen? So Tariq Woolen fell out of favor a little bit last season, and that was a player that I did like a lot, so I really don't think you'd have to give up too much for him. Maybe you have to give up like a 6th-round pick for him. DK Metcalf, I'll say a 2nd-round pick. So a 2nd and a 6th, but you're going to have to pay DK. Like, I would imagine the contract that the Raiders would have to give DK would be a slight raise to honestly probably what like the Texans just gave Nico Collins, which was what, about $24 million per year. I'd say you'd have to trade for DK, give up a 2nd-round pick, and then be prepared to pay him $25 to $26 million per year on a 3-year type of deal, because he's only got 1 year left, so you'd have to give him that new contract. What up, Gio? Is Stafford a trade option? I don't really think so. I've seen it being circulated out there. The Rams would have to eat a lot of money to trade away Stafford. So, like, I just don't think that they're going to do it. I could see them being in a win-now mode. Now, Stafford has $0 million guaranteed in 2026. So, because he's got 0 guaranteed in 2026, that would be more of the year that I could see a trade ended up going down. Jared, what up, man? Mitch, we need a running back. Would you rather Aaron Jones or Najee Harris? I would rather Aaron Jones, and I say that because I see Aaron Jones coming in on a 1-year deal, where I see Najee coming in on a 2 to 3-year deal. And because of that and that alone, I will take Aaron Jones. Crash Dog, what up, man? Happy birthday to the nation. The Las Vegas Raiders' birthday is January 30th, 1960, the day Oakland was granted an American Football League franchise. This is one of those dates that every single year I always tell myself I'm going to remember. Mitch, put it in your calendar. Put it in your calendar. Happy birthday to the nation out there. Gunny, I appreciate the fact that you sent that one in, man. Let's go to Jersey Boy. Offense prediction. Russ, Omari and Hampton, DK, Jacoby, Trey, Bowers, Colton, Tate Rattledge, offensive guard for, that's Georgia, JPJ Parham and Glaze. I'll tell you what, I don't mind this prediction at all. It's a very interesting one to me. And I think Trey Tucker is going to be another sneaky candidate that gets more work because, again, he's a physical player, high school wrestler. You can tell that he likes to block. I would want to know how much we spent on defense, though, because this offense to me is an offense that you're hoping can be top 16. This is not a top 15 offense in my book. You're hoping that it can be top 16, which means you better have a top 10 defense in order to go out there and compete. Because you got this one team playing in Super Bowl 59 that unfortunately you got to compete with 2 times a year. And we will be live for the big game. So if anybody wants to tune in and hang out with Chuggs and I, we're going to be going live at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I know Kansas City is the favorites in this one, but we're going to be rooting for Philadelphia the entire way. So if you're rooting with Philly with us, give us a PHI down below. And also don't be afraid to throw in an FKC. I'm not going to judge you at all. This is going to be a really fun game. I know it's kind of a preview of the Super Bowl that we've seen most recently. I really wanted the Bills to be in this game. It is what it is, but at least we can all root for a team this year. Like, last year was tough. And if we can make it through last year, I know for a fact we can make it through this year. Fly, Eagles, fly. We'll be live on the Super Bowl, so hopefully you're pulled up, tuned in, and subscribed. All right, Chuggs. All right, everybody out there. Venthrac, when I see you down in the chat, I'll give all the deals that we got going on here on today's show. But until I see Venthrac, happy hour doesn't start. And until I see Venthrac, the deals don't get flowing. The beer bongs don't get going as well. Raider Marty, what up, man? If you're still here rocking with us, spam HBD down below. Spam HBD down below. It's the Raiders' birthday, y'all. I got Seth. I got Jin. I got Mario. Appreciate all of y'all tuning in. Yoda Jenkins, Ron Raspberry.
Also,
what up, Seth?
Navman,
happy birthday to the nation. I am embarrassed that LA Crash Dog had to remind me. How many people are the exact same way, Navman? Because I'm with you. I tell myself every year, I'm going to remember it. I'm going to remember it. I'm going to remember it. And then I get this, and that's on me too. I'm embarrassed that I didn't remember it. Happy birthday to everybody out there, man. It's a very special day. Shout out to Gunny for reminding us all that we got a lot, and I mean a lot, to be happy about. So I'm going to message Venthrac here real quick. because he told me he was going to be here. And I just want to make sure.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
What?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. He's here.
Let's go. Happy birthday, dear Raiders. Happy birthday to you.
Ow! And we have a very special guest in the building.
Venthrac.
Let's go!
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you everything that we got planned here on today's show, and then I want to go through all the craziness that has already transpired. I have a special group. The Raiders Report has a special group. We call it Mount Raidermore. It is only the most diehard, dedicated people that show the most love to us, that show love to the chat, make this elite group. Right now, as it stands, we have 11 members. 11 members in Mount Raidermore. And for those of you that don't know who the 11 members are, luckily, I got a graphic to show all of y'all who it is. So this whole list, this whole Mount Raidermore thing started many, many years ago when Raider Ron David Zahn showed me the utmost love back when we had, 10K subscribers, 5K subscribers, 2K subscribers. And I always thought to myself, how can I create a group, a club? We have the Silver and Black Hills, we have Nody Gang, and, we show love to all these people. But Venthrac has been an absolute assassin in the year of 2025. He has banged more than anybody. Also was one of our top bangers in 2024. So I am happy to say that he's got a chance to get into Mount Raidermore today. Huge shout out to Raider Ron Davidson, Wild One Tribe, and John Borelli, Patrick B. The numbers that you see next to them is when they ended up getting inducted into Mount Raidermore. We have Brandon Jasper, Justin Abgen, Ira Jackson, John Scheffler, Lord Cameron Abbott, and maybe, just maybe, Venthrac is going to be the next one on that list. So anytime you see any of those 12 people on this show, I hope that you always show them the utmost love and utmost respect. It's also my youngest granddaughter's birthday today. She's 2. Happy birthday out there to little Gunny. So here is Venthrac's happy hour. Any super chat in the next 57 minutes and 47 seconds that says, congratulations to Venthrac. We're all going to pour one up. We're going to cheers it. I do want a lot of Raiders questions still to happen, though. I need hashtag Raiders. I need super chat questions, or else this 57 minutes is going to be boring. Every $100 super chat we get, beer bong and a bang. Every $100 Venmo counts as 2 bangs. And Venthrac, you are 7 bangs away from having the most bangs this year and last year. David Zahn actually was a crazy SOB. He had 60 bangs last year. So Venthrac, hypothetically speaking, if you were to send in a 400 on Venmo, you in. You know what I'm saying? You hit the gong today, you in. And that's as simple as I can do it. Shout out to Venthrac, and I think today is going to be a wild one because David Zahn Bang!
But wait!
Patrick B. Bang!
But wait!
Naman Bang!
But wait!
Venthrac Bang! Oh, man!
Ow! Electricity in the air.
Here, Chuggs. Take one down.
Pass it around.
Take one down, you pass it around. Another one on the
Venthrac
wall.
wall.
Dude, I'll tell you this right now.
Venthrac, this one's for you, buddy. Oh, fruit punch. I do have to say, I know that Brett got mostly fruit punch. I think it might be one of my least favorite.
Can I be honest with you? I couldn't agree with you more. Like, I feel like it's the red Hawaiian punch.
When I saw that it was mostly the fruit punches, I kind of let out a little sigh.
I almost gave Brett a fruit punch myself. What up, Caden?
You need Jack for that.
Very true. Hey, also, real quick, every $10 Venmo we get, we are also doing a duck race today. Venthrac, I don't know if you heard this earlier. I already put you in on my behalf, so just keep that in mind. Happy birthday, Raiders from Maine. With the draft coming up, what do you think the odds are we move up to number 1? In all honesty, I'd give this less than 1 just win, baby. I really don't think the Raiders want to trade up. This is a team that wants to be able to build stability. They want to build in the long haul. And I think that they believe that they're going to be able to get Shedeur Sanders at number 6 just based off of some of the things that I've heard, if you will. Dion wants Shedeur to be a Raider. And I think you're going to see a lot of interesting rumors out there. Now, if the Titans end up taking Cam Ward, the Giants and Shedeur is going to be the team to look at there. Though there's some speculation that the Giants might not even take Shedeur at number 3. So in terms of trading up, I don't think it's going to happen because we need to build for the future, and giving up a lot of draft capital, I don't want to trade up for Shedeur. I would trade up for Cam Ward. I don't want to trade up for Shedeur Sanders. Rebel! Tell Marsh LeBron will feast this Saturday, 107 to 101. I mean, I'm guessing that's a big Lakers fan there.
Yeah.
Big old Lakers fan right there. I got to get a few more. Low Life Rev!
I'm actually a big Nav Man fan.
Cheers to you, Low Life.
No!
I thought this was the same one.
Man!
Bang!
Officially retired today!
No shit!
Hell yeah!
So that means you can hang out with us all day, every day.
The nation is everything. Venthrac, for you, my brother, it is all about using my hands to create cool shit. Much love to Venthrac. I need one thing, and I need a Raiders from everybody. Spam Raiders in the comment section. 493 Nav Man. Let's go. Let's go.
Why is it so spicy? Also, Chuggs, people are asking, Mitch, am I in the duck race? The answer to that is probably. So right now, the people that we got in the duck race are Ron Raz, you in. Raspberry, you're going to get in again. I see Philip Bogert in. Bogert Philip in. Sean Irish of Sean in. Actually, Sean, you only got one, but you know what? I'm going to pay for the other one. Sean, that's on me. I already wrote you down. I don't feel like deleting it. Mark, back that thing up, Mr. Mark. Oh, wait, it's Mark Bates. He's a master guy. Rob Fravor, you in? I also see 93 Nav in. LA Crash in. Damon Fletchero, you in? Raymond in. It's Raymond Sanchez, by the way. And then I also see, dude, we got a lot of people. Joseph Witt in. My dad is in. He also said congrats to Navman. Amy is in. Charles G in. And then I see Gabriel Ruiz, you, sir, are in. Jeremy, I got to send you a message here real quick. And I got some good news. We come bearing gifts. Here on the Raiders Report. Also, it looks like Juan Jimenez, you in. What up, Juan? I got you in there, my guy. Juan said, Mitch, get me in there twice. No problem. Joe Jenkins, who's been a crazy mother F for the past few days. Right now, as it stands, a $10 Venmo, and you're going to be in for a chance to win $100. Also, L.A. Crash Dog! Bang! Gunny, he had this to say to you, Venthrac. Congrats to Venthrac, Mount Raidermore. Hey, man, pour one up real quick here for Mr. L.A. Crash Dog. I warned y'all at the beginning of the show. We're going to do our Raiders content, and then when it turns into happy hour, it's going to turn into happy hour. And we got 50 minutes to turn this thing into a shit show.
Let's go. Oh, of course, we got those effers next to us.
I'm not going to the bathroom either. You guys won't be able to make me go to the bathroom in 15 minutes. I'm not going. I'm not going.
I'm not leaving.
You can't make me go anywhere.
Let's go. Keep on getting those hashtag Raiders in. Get those super chats in. I'm gonna try to we're gonna try to answer as much.
Yep.
We're gonna try to have a good time.
Yep.
This one coming in from Frankie2X. Raiders, do you think we draft a CB to replace Jack Jones, or do we sign one in free agency? He's already saying Jack Jones is gone.
I don't think Jack Jones is going to be back next season. I think that's going to be one of those players that the Raiders probably decide to cut. And I say that because you go back and you look at – oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry. You go back and you look at how bad Jack Jones was, right? Like, you go back and you look at how bad he was before Antonio Pierce. It's not good. And I also think, like, he wasn't good last season. Don't get me wrong. And I know that a lot of people wanted to show love to him because he was swaggy, he was that. But at the same time, he took such a massive step back. Like, and it wasn't a good step back. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't one of the step backs that you see in a NBA type of game and you go, all right, man, that's a great step back. I think at the end of the day, and I'm typing a few things in because I got a lot of stuff happening in here on the back end. I would say move on from Jack Jones. It's not somebody I really want in my locker room anyway. So, yeah, I'm probably good on moving on from him. Hang on, I got to type one more thing. It's not to you. It's to some other stuff here.
I see.
Oh, crap. I forgot to mention this. Yoda Jenkins! Bang! And Yoda's message is this. I'm banging for Venthrac.
And you know what? I see Steven, he was asking about Avery in the chat, which she is here.
Seems to be a fan favorite.
I'll say this. If somebody sends in a 200, Jello shots all around. We have more of those syringes in the fridge. I'll get Avery. We'll get some Jello shots for the whole crew.
Bro, Jello?
Jello shots for the gang. You down?
Dude, those Jello shots are tough, though, man.
I know. I just asked Tyler.
Dude, that's true. One of our chat sports guys had it absolutely, literally blow up in his face. Tyler Dooling, Can't Walk, Carly Krug, you all are in the duck race. Again, it is a $10 Venmo right now for a chance to win $125.
And I'll go ahead and, did you do a bong for that one?
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Renz Hatake.
Would you go get Lockett if the Seahawks cut him? I would not. And the only reason why I'm not going to go out and get Lockett is because, again, he's an aging receiver, and I know that he has that Pete Carroll connection. But at the same time, I would try to make Trey Tucker, that's how I would want Trey Tucker to turn into. I would want him to turn into a Tyler Lockett. I think Lockett is way more talented of a player and a better receiver overall than what Trey is. But at the same time, we got to be able to figure out what we got in Tucker. I want that pre-snap motion. I want the physicality. It does depend what type of offense we run. But, Lockett would be the, third option, right? He's going to be behind Brock, going to be behind Jacoby Myers. To me, Lockett's an upgrade over Trey Tucker, but we are also trying to build this for the long haul. Lockett doesn't have any long-term standing power where somebody like Trey Tucker does. Just saying.
Bad year for Tuckers.
Yeah, it's a bad day for Tucker.
I don't know if all y'all were here at the beginning of the show, but if you haven't heard about Justin Tucker, if the reports are true, all-time sicko.
Yep. Now, man, as much as I know this is for Venthrac, but my thoughts are currently also on Tuna, I am also beside myself with a brother struggling. David Zahn and Trivan sending him the biggest one. Thanks to my bros for making that happen. I think it's one of those things where as a nation, we got to rally behind each other. And
Spam Tuna.
The amount of people that have shown love to Brandon and the amount of people that have, just rallied around Brandon, I think is a pretty amazing thing. And, Brandon, I always say this, man. You die twice in your life. You die when you die, and you die when the last time somebody says your name. I promise you this. your name is going to live a very, very long time. Very long time.
Tuna.
Tuna. Tuna. Tuna. Tuna. Tuna. Tuna.
Tuna.
Oh! Joe Jenkins! Bang! He said, Jello shots for everyone! You get a Jello shot. You get a Jello shot. I guess I get a few Jello shots. Congrats to Venthrac. Always makes chat a good time and deserves this. Cheers to the nation. Shots for Chuggs. You know what?
Shot.
Everybody, if you haven't already clicked that like button, make sure you click that like button. Don't do it for me. Do it for Venthrac.
And
do it for Joe Jenkins.
Avery is here.
Uh-oh.
Let's go. Let's take some shots.
Jello shots. Joe Jenkins here in the building. Do I go? Well, again, it's going to look black on screen. We're going to go Raiders. Raiders black. It's technically green. Tex is going to pull up? Ah, dude. I'm just going to warn y'all right now. It's a green screen, okay? It's a green screen.
Yeah, gotta make sure you take the cap off. Come on, guys. Come on.
So this one, again, this is what it looks like. We got a green one. We got red. We did it for Chiefs and Eagles, just so all y'all know. Shout out to Avery. Shout out to Tex. Shout out to Chuggs. Shout out to Venthrac for being down there in the chat. Joe Jenkins got the party started.
Take the cap off.
I got it. Cheers, y'all. Touch the tips. Oh, God. It's not too often. I'm the tallest guy. Whew. That's vodka. Wow. Woo. There's a guarantee that vodka was plastic. That was a plastic handle vodka. Wow. Oh, man. There's Grey Goose, and then there's Goose is Loose. And that Goose is loose, man. I'm not a vodka fan, though. Like, I'm really not. I'm not going to lie to you. That hit me like a ton of bricks, dude. That was an instant back of the throat vodka. Man, oh man, oh man.
Mr. Crash Dog.
Dude, that was I'm feeling good right now. I'm ready.
Got me feeling nicey.
Congratulations to my brother Navman on his much-deserved retirement. Semper Fi. Much-deserved retirement for Navman, which now means he's got some extra time to potentially get into Mount Raider more, which that's going to be a show that we do pretty soon. What up, Carly's Kruger? Happy birthday to the Raiders. Mitch, don't ever pull a Minshew live again.
Also, Carly's, shout out to the Noti Gang. I
always
made
in there.
All of our Noti Gang graphics, and I want to say at least 50% of them, Carly's Kruger is in it.
Dude, every time. I will say this. I don't pick my nose and eat it on the show. Nobody should. But there's times when you're an adult, you got to pick your nose. And I don't know, I'm not afraid to do it. Like, I do it all the time here, where the biggest thing that drives me nuts is when I get one, and and every time I talk, it kind of tickles my nose a lot.
Big Joe, is that the guy you tweeted out the other day, Big Joe?
I don't know.
With Madden? Who is the Madden guy you?
Oh, Toke.
Oh.
Toke. Yeah, you're going to play Toke in Madden it someday. You know, booger moment, I don't know if I pick my nose on this show, which sounds weird. Like, I'm not afraid to do it. Like, if I got boogers here, I know you guys well enough where there's no way at this point in my career, right, whatever we're going to call this YouTube channel, I'm not going to be embarrassed. If I can sit up here and be in a dress, if I can take a Jello shot out of somebody's belly button, you guys are my family, where there's not a lot that's going to embrace me. But if I do some weird shit, damn it, call me out, man.
Zon,
Call me out.
Gray Caboose?
Call me out. Yeah, Martin B., I don't have a nose ring, though I've thought about it. Ron, would you be willing to bring in DeAndre Hopkins? Sure. Again, I think at the end of the day, when it comes to a wide receiver, it's going to come down to money. How much money am I going to pay DeAndre Hopkins? Because I would imagine for the age that he's at and the name value, that's probably a player you're going to have to overpay a little bit. If I'm going to overpay at any position for a player at that age, offensive line. I'm not going to overpay for a wide receiver. Let's go to Martin B. But does Tom Brady want Shador? Does Papa Pete? I know for a fact Tom Brady wants Shador Sanders. And again, this is somebody that he has worked with for a very, very long time. They have a lot of connections. Tom Brady texts Shador Sanders almost every single day.
He's the last person he texts before he goes to bed.
That I don't know if it's true. But I do know for a fact that they have a very close relationship.
Every night.
And I really do think that Shador is going to be the plan long term. Not starting right away, but going to be a QB that learns for a year or two. What up, Seth? Mitch, should we bring Harrison Bryant back? The only reason why I'm going to say no to this option is because I want the Raiders to do a better job this season of getting Michael Mayer involved, where we heard so much 12 personnel, right? We heard 12 personnel this, 12 personnel that, 12 personnel, 12 personnel, 12 personnel. We didn't freaking do it all season. And Mayer's a really damn good tight end. And when I go back and I look at the physicality that I believe that this offense is going to want to have this season, Bryant is a hell of a blocker. And if we can bring him back, I'm on board with it. But I would say if moving on from Harrison Bryant means that we're going to pay a little bit more closer attention to getting, both Bowers and Mayer involved, then let's go ahead and let's do that.
I forgot. Did we answer this?
Born a Raider. If TB picks the OC, who do you think we would want? I did. I'm just going to go with the name that I'm hearing the most of right now. It's Bevel. Whether you like it, whether you don't, I think it's Bevel. Jersey Boy Greaser, should the Raiders sign Anthony Nelson? I got to be honest with you. I got to pull up his numbers.
I think that's the former Cowboys.
He's an outside linebacker.
Oh, nope. I'm thinking of somebody else.
He played on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season. 40 tackles in 2024, 40 tackles in 2023. I mean, he's a spy tech guy, no doubt about it. I haven't done much homework on my linebackers yet in terms of free agency. It's going to be a name that I do a little bit more research on, though. And I've actually fallen guilty to this. And again, I'm never going to be somebody that sits up here and lies to y'all. I pay so much attention to the Raiders and what the Raiders are doing that I don't really pay attention to a lot of stuff going on outside of the NFL walls. But once free agency gets rolling, and today was the first day I did actual free agency videos, we'll get that ball rolling again. And I promise anybody out there that watches the show, the free agency knowledge that I have now compared to the free agency knowledge that I'll have in a month from now is going to blow your mind. Just like the draft knowledge that I have now compared to the draft knowledge that I'm going to have in April, it's going to blow your mind. It's just, I pay attention to coaches right now. It's just all a part of the offseason plan, even for me. Let's go to Daniel Meeker. Mitch, it doesn't matter if you pick your nose, but where you put the boogers. It's funny, in college, so again, I was a pitcher, and pitchers are known to be sometimes a little bit weird, and I'm proud to admit this. I was the ace on our pitching staff for 3 years at college, and a lot of the other guys would always make jokes at me, and the long-running joke for a lot of the pitchers was, we watched Family Guy a lot, and you ever see the Family Guy episode where Peter picks his nose and he looks at Meg and he goes, "Meg, proud of you." Right? And we used to do that to each other all the time, but we would actually put boogers on each other. I got some big boogers, man. That's all I'm going to say, Daniel. That's all I'm going to say.
John
Bang! Venthrac, congrats on joining the mountain. It's a climb. Not yet. The great tuna. Every time I bang, I'm always going to mention the tuna. Couldn't ask for a better brother and great Raider fan.
Yeah, I got this one, Mitch.
I gotta tune in, and I would like, if we can this weekend or next weekend, I want to set up a call with all of Mount Raider more, and I want to get Venthrac in that call as well. Again, Venthrac, got to get in which I think you're going to end up doing it. But, I want us to all get on a group call. I want us to all talk, and I still want us to be able to share a lot of the laughs, a lot of the stuff that we have been doing. And I feel bad this month I haven't been able to join those calls, and it's been busy for me. Alex has been out of town, and I know it's not an excuse. But I promise you this, we got to set up a call. So to Mount Raidermore out there, let's try to set up a call, and I will do my best to be able to make one either Saturday or Sunday. I have a wedding dinner, wedding stuff with Alex on Sunday, and I told Alex I would plan a date night for Saturday. We've just been doing a lot of wedding stuff. So if we can maybe schedule something in Saturday or Sunday, I would love to be able to do it. Or even Friday night. Friday night actually might be better for me. Friday night. Let's schedule something Friday night. King, what up? If T. Higgins enters free agency, he's going to hit free agency. Should we target him? And what does that contract look like? T. Higgins was a receiver that I knew Antonio Pierce liked a lot. And if AP was still the head coach, I would almost be confident enough to say that T. Higgins would be a Raider. However, though, Higgins is probably going to want somewhere around the $28, $29, $30 million a year number. That's just too steep for me. And realistically, I would say if the Raiders go out and if they're going to pay a receiver that type of money, I think it's DK Metcalf. I know you still got to make the trade, but I would imagine that DK would probably be the more likely candidate out of all those. So that's what we're going to do. We got 33 more minutes of Raiders happy hour here. Shout out to my man Venthrac. Venthrac is, as it stands right now, 6 bangs away from getting in Mount Raidermore. Though Venthrac, if you hit the gong, you're automatically in. And if you send in, technically it's 3 bangs on Venmo, you in. Bourne, if we stay at 6, should we go offense or defense? Best player available. I mean, in all honesty, it's got to be best player available. And if you're a Raiders fan, and for a lot of the Raiders fans that have been watching the show for a long time, I have always been a big advocate of best player available because of all the holes that we have on defense. Finally, the Raiders went best player available in last draft, and we got a JPJ, we got a Brock Bowers. Smart organizations sometimes make the unsexy pick. And the Raiders did that last season, and it proved out to be the right pick. That's what I want them to do again. Nabman said, flick it in the general direction of FKC. Booger drama is the real elder you get. Ask Richard Renz. He knows. Booger drama? Dad, I don't know what Nabman's talking about here. Though, if I get a booger, I'll try to... Next time I actually get a good one, I'll try to put one on the camera. Chuggs says no. All right, I can't do it then. All right, how about this? We are talking a lot about bringing players back here. If you could re-sign one player and one player only, out of these 4 names right here, who would you guys bring back?
I actually didn't double-check the numbers, so I think they're all right.
Kuntz is 51, Splane's 41, Nate Hobbs 39, Merrick, he's 7.
Okay. I was like, I thought I did it right, but I didn't.
Do you know Merrick's old number?
27?
Close, 25. Very close, very, very close.
I knew it was in the 20s.
Very, very close. So out of these names, Venthrac says 41 in Spillane.
I'm seeing some 51s. I'm seeing some 39s.
I'm listening. I'm listening to you. Also, I got to send, not you a message. I'm not going to lie. I need some more bodies. I have a few brewskis here, which, you're right, the Happy Dad fruit punches they're not great. I'm going to be honest. Yep. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. We got a few more people getting in the duck race, which I'm not going to lie, I love. Darth, you in? Chuggs, you want one? I'm gonna pay for Chuggs. Chuggs, you in? And how about this? Every member of Mount Raidermore that bangs today, you're gonna go in. So that means David Zahn, I got you. John Sheff, I got you. Patrick B, I got you. Zahn, Sheff, Patrick B. Is that all Mount Raidermore that banged today? Chef. Hey, you know what? If you bang today, I'm just going to put you in. Joe Jenkins, you in. Yoda Jenkins, you in. I believe I'm all caught up, right? That man, I'll get that man in there again. So that means, as it stands right now, a $10 Venmo, you would go home with $170 here on the Raiders Report. And as soon as I mentioned that, we got more people joining the race. Kamar, you in. Eric Castro, you in. Timothy, in. Isidro, in. Though Isidro said, get me in twice. So now, it is 10 to win, almost. Uh-oh. Wow. David Shaw has just agreed to the job with the Detroit Lions. Thank the flippin' Lord. So David Shaw was a name that was being rumored for the Raiders for a potential OC gig. He's now going to the Detroit Lions. That's big, dude. I'm not going to lie to y'all. That's a big, big one. I was a little bit nervous about that. I was a little bit nervous about that one. Oh, wait. You know what I forgot to do, Chuggs? Hang on a second here. Also, Venthrac, I'm not going to do a boot, but I definitely got to put this on.
I see.
Goo Lagoon.
You know what? If Venthrac hits the ball, hits the gong.
Okay.
If
Ventrac's like, I'm way ahead of you.
Let me rewind it.
He's like, I'm way ahead of you, Chuggs.
If Venthrac hits the gong,
okay,
I'll do a boot. Wow, yeah, that was
If Venthrac hits the gong, you'll do a boot.
That was almost dangerous.
If Venthrac hits the bong, I'll do a boot. Ventrac's
not opposed.
Hey, it is what it is, right?
Not opposed.
It is what it is, man. All right, y'all. So we still got 28 minutes of happy hour. I want to get some questions flowing here. We will do the duck race once that 28 minutes ends. So when the 28 minutes ends, then that's when we'll get into the duck race. We'll do our little celebration for Venthrac if he gets in. Again, he is 6 bangs away. Super Chat counts as 1. Venmo counts as 2. Big Joe, I Venmo'd to 20. Did I get 2 entries? It's under Joseph. Yes. If you Venmo me 20 and a $10 duck race, I put you in twice. That's just what I do. That's just what ends up happening. Can you check your phone real quick for me, good sir? Good sir.
Call J.G. Wentworth.
877 cash now. Rustin Long, you in. Mark Call in. Giovanni Tejada in. And then I see Corey.
Chef is saying we forgot one for him,
Cummings
so
in.
This one's for Chef.
We didn't get Chefs?
Here we go.
That's on us, Chef. That's on us, Chef. Caleb Tarr, what up, man? All right, let's go through some of these supers here on the show. And again, today's deals are as followed. Any super chat that says anything Venthrac related, I will take a drink to that. Any hundos, a beer bong, and a bang. Any 100 Venmo counts as 2 bangs. Beer bong still goes down. Keeping PG helps with re-signing those 4 players. Exactly. If you want the Raiders to create a little bit of more stability and bring back some of those guys, then you got to be really happy that they brought back Patrick Graham and Rob Leonard. Big Joe. Yep, I got you 2 in there, Big Joe. You in. Caleb Tarr, chest day, and just chugged my CT Crunch Panda Subs.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Dude, how good is it? Where I don't really think people understand how good the protein is from Panda until you actually have it.
When it hits your lips.
It's phenomenal. Like, there's actual chunks of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
You know who else is phenomenal?
Venthrac! Bang! Come on, Venthrac! I said a Venthrac. Venthrac.
I said a Venthrac. So $200 on Venmo away from hitting the gong. Because it counts as 2.
So, I would say Gong, he's still 3 away. 3 bangs from Gong.
No, I know, but the deal was for Venmo, the 100's 2 bangs.
Well, I usually do Gong as 500 no matter what. I'm saying bang. I know it's a little different what we typically do. All right, for Venthrac's case, 2 bangs he's in. 2 bangs you got to boot. I mean, I was trying to help you out. 7 Venthrac bangs and you in Mount Raider more, which means 2 more Venmo bangs and you in.
Here we go. Pretty sure LA Crash Dog gets another duck as well. I think he does get a firefighter duck.
Uh-oh. If you're going to splooge into this.
Lost Oakland.
What
Got
up,
some
Lost?
more hashtag Raiders questions coming in.
I got you. How many have we caught up on the supers?
Yes.
I got you. Bro. Blurry right now. I have a feeling Nate Hobbs is going to sign with the Bears or with Green Bay. Potentially, right? Like, I think if you're Nate Hobbs, you're going to go to the team that pays you the most money. And I do know Hobbs wants to be a Raider. That was a team that, again, took a chance on him in the late rounds, right? Like, they took him in the 5th. That was a player, or was it the 5th or the 6th? They took Hunter in the 6th. When did they take Nate Hobbs? What the hell am I doing? Was it the 7th round? But that's a player that, 5th round. I don't know why I totally went like, no idea what I was thinking. But again, 5th round pick and has been able to be a really solid player for this team. And everybody watching the show right now, if I could guarantee you that Nate Hobbs is going to play 16 to 17 games, everybody here right now goes, I want to bring Nate Hobbs back. But that hasn't been the case, and he hasn't been able to prove that he can stay healthy. Oh! Taino! Bang!
Let's go!
Congratulations to Mr. Venthrac. Very, very well deserved. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Shout out to Taino Raider, one of our OGs and a member of the Silver and Black Hills. Taino, you should be getting your Brock Bowers jersey soonish. I ordered a brand new yarmulke for my guy. You should be getting that stuff hopefully soon. Just keep texting me like you've been, and I'll make sure you get everything that you're supposed to get. Cheers to my man Taino down below.
There we go. Down the hatch. Down the hatch.
I'm not gonna lie, that pee break, we're getting close. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking a pee break. Not taking a pee break. No chance.
Jake.
Is butt cheeks one word, or or should we spread them apart? Bro, I'm not gonna lie. That's a phenomenal dad joke. That's I feel like I'm on Thursday Night Football live right now, and we're in the 3rd or 4th quarter, and we're in some murky waters, is all I'm gonna say. Would you be willing to sign Mekhi Becton? I would. And I think for a lot of the OG watchers out there, can you guys remember when I was super high on Becton? And I said I would put him as a guard. And I said I would put him as a guard because he's just too big to be a tackle. And he was. He just proved to be too big. And now that you see him, he's playing guard for the Philadelphia Eagles, he ends up being a good player. And if you don't believe me, go back to watch what? That would have been the 2021 draft when he was coming out of Louisville. He was one of my favorite prospects, and I said, put him as a guard. You put him as a guard, shows that it's going to be pretty good. Venthrac! Bang! Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. For the legend of Mount Raidermore, for my crew in the Silver and Black Hills, and for all the rest of you crazy mother effers out there, I love all of y'all. Shout out to Venthrac, who is on an absolute tear in this month, man. Bro, Venthrac, that is his, let me do the math here. He's getting close, y'all. My guy is getting close. He is 2 bangs away. 2 bangs away. Right? Technically, 2 bangs away from a gong. No matter what, you're 2 bangs away from a gong. Bro, this is pretty iconic today, man. Shout out to Venthrac, dude. I mean this. I'm having a lot of fun today. It's cool to be able to chop it up with the nation. It's also cool to see the amount of people that are showing love for somebody that maybe you've never met before. And it's why I'll always say, this is way, way, way more than a YouTube channel, man. Nick, what's up, dude? Looks like Jaxson Dart and Jalen Milroe are on the watch list for the Senior Bowl. I do have a growing interest in Dart. I think he could be good sitting under Russell Wilson or other vet quarterback. I don't fully disagree with you. And here was my argument that I gave for Rundown. I was talking to Rundown the other day when I was on a show, and I said this. Which quarterback has the higher upside, Jalen Milroe or Jaxson Dart? I believe it's Jalen Milroe just due to the athletic ability. So if you knew that one guy had the higher upside, I would rather Jalen Milroe learn underneath Russell Wilson, learn underneath a guy like Tom Brady for 2 years, and then is he able to put it together in, technically 3 years from now, or do you rely on a guy like Jaxson Dart, who is a better passer? Like, Dart is clearly a better passer, and it totally depends what type of offense that you're trying to run, what type of offense you're trying to get established. But I also do think that Jalen Milroe is coming off a bad season because he lost out on Nick Saban, and you could build a great team with a good running attack, good offensive line, rely on your defense. Like, that is a recipe that I think could win in the AFC West, keeping all those other great offensive minds off the field. Jalen Milroe could be an interesting project to do that. That's kind of my thought process.
Crash dog.
What up, Gunny? Hate to see my neighbor Venthrac leaving us in the Silver and Black Hills, but so happy for him moving up to the mountain of Mount Raidermore. I guess, like, the one thing I could say about this is, like, technically, we lose out on Venthrac going to the Mount Raidermore, which means there's an open spot in the Silver and Black Hills. Just saying, there is an open spot.
Just saying.
What up, Jersey boy? Will Johnson, round 1. Honestly, don't like any quarterback in the draft other than Cam Ward.
Oh,
It's not that I don't like any other quarterback. I don't love the values of them.
After today, I don't know if you can take a quarterback named Cam.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw what Cam Newton said today, which is fraudulent.
Look, why for yes, in for no? Would you be mad if your quarterback said he'd rather win an MVP than a Super Bowl? Why? Why for yes, in for no? Would you be mad if your quarterback said, I would rather win a MVP than a Super Bowl? Because that's exactly what Cam Newton said today.
It's not exactly what he said.
Oh, he was asked.
It's technically what he said.
He was asked point blank, would you give up your MVP for a Super Bowl? And he said, nope, I would not. So I think that's
It's crazy. I mean, it's a crazy statement. It's a crazy statement.
If that's not him saying, I'd rather have an MVP than a Super Bowl, I don't know what is.
I'm saying he technically said it. He technically did say it, but he didn't actually say it.
Did you kill that girl? Yes. He said he killed her. Technically. That's what you just said.
No, I didn't. It's very different.
They asked him a question. He answered.
You said that he would rather have an MVP over a Super Bowl. I said that's not true. He did not say that. He technically did say it. That's what I said.
That's like me being like, that dude puked over there, and you're like, actually, he barfed.
No, it's not.
Yes.
No. No.
Yes.
Nope. All right. Oh, I just got a notey. This should be interesting. Oh, my Lord. What is this? Hang on a second. Wow, that's wild. Welp, this is gonna be interesting. Great success. Holy flippin' cow, man. I will say this, we do have a new MVP here on today's show. This is a crazy mother effer right here. Crazy. Mother effer right here. Taino! Bang! You got one?
Yep. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Taino.
Taino.
What up, my man? Taino Raider. Shout out to you, brother. Dude. It's hitting me. It's been hat. Noah Suavemente! This is an alley-oop for Venthrac. Putting on my thinking cap. This is, I guess, one way to help Venthrac.
Tween crossover alley-oop for a Venthrac peanut butter Taylor Suavemente time. Bang!
I love that. That's hilarious, man. Suave threw one up. Who's going to throw it down? Who's going to throw it down?
John Rodriguez. It's Jason Statham's twin brother. Hashtag Robert Spillane.
It's maybe. Though I think Jason Statham is a better looking guy than Spillane. If it's the guy I'm thinking about. Because I'm pretty sure that's one of like Alex's hall passes. Venthrac! Bang! Man! Bang! Oh, man!
Oh, shit!
Oh, man!
Oh, shit!
The alley. And then the oop.
He's on fire!
That's unbelievable! A dipsy doo!
Dunkaroo!
That was awesome, baby, with a capital A!
He's a diaper dandy Venthrac, baby!
Yeah, the beers are starting to hit, man. The beers! They're starting to hit! No doubt about it! Oh, man, dude.
Daniel wants to know if that's her hall pass. What's your hall pass?
I don't even know, dude.
Navman says, I got you, Noah, for the jam. Oh, pump the jam.
I actually
pump
feel
it
kind
up.
of lame to not be able to say a hall pass off the top of my head. I don't know.
You've told me before.
I mean, like, Sofia Vergara, I think, is bad. Now, again, she's, like, in her 50s. Like, Sofia Vergara, like, at 30
Jim
would
Ross
be my
voice.
answer.
Oh, my God! Oh, my God! He's got a bang!
There's also an actress, and I can't remember her name. She's got, like, black hair, really big eyes.
Oh, yeah,
She's really...
That narrows it down.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember. Like, I don't watch movies. I don't listen to stuff.
For me, it's Kat Dennings.
I don't even know who that is.
If you search her, I guarantee you know exactly who she is.
Sure.
Just look her up.
With a K?
Yeah.
I could see that for you. She's hilarious. See, she's like not my cup of tea, but at the same time, I could absolutely see in that for you. So you're telling me right now, is there like, all right, I'm not even going to get into that. $10 to get in for the duck race. 11:30 to go and happy hour. This one goes out to Suave, Venthrac, and to Navman.
Suavemente, suavemente.
All right, I'm not going to lie to y'all. I am getting bloated. Bloated! It's amazing how many beers we put down, and then it's been 50 minutes, and I feel like a totally different human being right now. I'm not going to lie to y'all.
Radioactive, radioactive. Duval.
No, dude, how weird is that? Let's be honest. If we would have hired Liam Cohen, and he would have stepped up to the podium, and he would have been like, Raiders. Everybody would have been like,
Immediately,
we got to get rid of this guy.
F's in the chat. Next video. Fire Liam Cohen.
I might have done it.
Raiders.
Bro, we're firing that guy immediately.
God. If y'all didn't see it, I'll put the tweet in the chat. We did our own impressions of Liam Cohen. Yeah, and y'all can let us know who you think did the best. I'm putting the tweet in the chat right now. We all did our Liam Cohen impression.
Santos, you in. Noah Santana, in. Misty Williamson, in. Buckkirk, in.
Navman. Duval.
Dude, I mean, it was the most cringe thing I have ever seen. $10 Venmo right now in for a chance to win $250.
When we were going through all of the head coach candidates, the one thing I told Mitch, and the only thing I told him about any of the candidates, was Liam Cohen's got too stupid of a face to hire for the Raiders.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I told Mitch.
I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. And when you combine the face and then you combine
Duval,
I think we got. I'm not gonna lie. It reminded me of Adam Gase. I'm like, Liam Cohen's got a little bit of Adam Gase in him. Where I get it, young offensive mind. Not everybody's built to be a head coach. I mean, think about it. You're a player, and you're gonna go play for that guy right now. And the last time that you heard him speak, like that's not gonna be somebody that's gonna be able to like really, I think, motivate people.
Down by 3 at halftime. You need the coach to motivate the boys.
Go for it.
Hey,
No,
we've got this, boys.
I mean, it was weird. It was cringe. I feel weird keep saying it, but it was one of those videos that I watched 20 times. And every time I watched it, I was like, dude, this is hard to watch. Dr. K, I'm excited about the guy who can find Hall of Fame secondary players late in every draft. I think he drafts two secondary studs in this class. Offensive line is my worry. Offensive line, I think, should be the biggest worry for Raider fans because nothing else matters if you can't win in the trenches. And we got to be able to win in the trenches. Darth! I sold my guitar to a guy without arms. He said he'd play it by ear. Holy shit, dude. I did not expect that at all. Though, I used to think it was play it by year. I really did. I used to say play it by year, and then this happened. Venthrac! Bang! One more bang! We are one bang away! And Venthrac is officially in.
I'll do the boot for the next one. But I don't have any more beers with me right now if you want to take this one down.
I say, if you want to go grab your boot.
I'll boot it. I'll grab the boot.
Look at this. Ah, shit.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, shit. This is a...
That was big. That was big 8-year-old at the pool. Hey, Dad, watch this.
I was like, I can pour a drink. Hey. Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Hey, baby. White folk gangsters in the club. Hey, baby. Oh, my God, I didn't see this. How long has this been up screen? Nobody told me anything. Rebel Montana! Bang! Rebel Montana! Rebel Montana! Rebel Montana! Come on, Reb! Come on, Reb! From the Silver and Black Hills, he said, welcome to the club. It's all about getting to the club. Rebel, what's up, my brother? I'll tell you this right now. If there's one person that I think of like the way that I eat, and Rebel, you know I follow you on IG, so when you always like post your like what you eat stories or pictures or whatever, I'm always like, dude, I would crush that. And I laugh at it because, as soon as the live show gets done, Rebel's like, all right, like let's go home, let's go eat. I've also been seeing that you've been losing some weight. I've also been seeing that you've been fasting, so you haven't been eating during the day, and you eat a little bit at night. It's honestly the same thing I do, which I'm not going to lie. I ate a little bit of food today just because I knew today was going to be kind of a crazy day. But, Rebel, I'm telling you this right now. We have the exact same palate, my guy. Exact same palate, my guy. Venthrac says, thank you so much to Rebel Montana. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I feel good. We're feeling pretty good. Happy hour is almost over. I do want this to be known, though, okay? When this clock hits 0, we still got a duck race. If there's still super chats, still questions, we will answer them. It's not like when this hits 0, we're going to dip. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Though, it might. It might get a little bit crazy here in this piece. Another one. Mariano, is Justin Fields and T. Higgins a possibility? I would say personally that I think Fields is the bigger possibility than Higgins, just simply because I don't think smart organizations would pay somebody like Higgins without having a quarterback. And even if like you go out and you spend money on Russell Wilson, you still got to pay Russell Wilson probably quarterback type money. Then you got to pay T. Higgins probably close to 27 to 30 mil. On top of that, you got to be able to also pay Max Crosby some money. I just think that you can spend your money elsewhere. Like T. Higgins, 27 mil, or you bring back Trevon Merrick, Robert Spillane, and you're also able to bring back a Caleb Von Chasen and maybe even an Adam Butler. It's a lot of money. I would say Adam Butler. Let's go. Trevon Merrick, Robert Spillane, Adam Butler. Those 3 players is probably the same price tag as T. Higgins. Love T. But if you told me T. Higgins are those 3 guys, I'm going to take those 3 guys. Mark Cole! Bang! He said congratulations to Mr. Venthrac and a loud Venthrac bang-a-rang. Mark Cole also showing love to that mother effer, Mr. Venthrac. Oh, dude. This one always hits. Drive it! Bang! Come on, drive it! I said a try, van. Try, van. Yeah, I'll tell you this right now. I miss that handlebar. Try, van. I miss you.
And Blaine?
I miss your musk. I miss your musk, Try, van. I really do. Shout out to Try, van. Shout out to Mark.
Wow. Here we go.
Happy hour's almost over.
Blaine says, congrats, Venthrac. You deserve it. Next up is Navman.
We are one bang away from Venthrac making Mount Raider more.
And here it is!
Venthrac! Venthrac! Let's go!
Can we just get every single person in here? All I want to see for the next
Venthrax!
Venthrax for the next 50 seconds.
Venthrax down below!
The only thing I want to see in the chat is a Venthrax.
Some mother effing Venthrax down below.
Venthrac. Venthrac. Venthrac.
Venthrac.
Shark bait. Ooh ha ha.
Venthrac. Ooh ah ah. Mitch, Chuggs, y'all. will never know how much this community means to me. Thank you for being awesome. And with that, I'm kicking down the door. Let's freaking go. Venthrac busting down the door.
And right in time with the last 10 seconds of happy hour. Let's freaking go.
Yo, Venthrac, I mean this when I say this, dude. People like you and people like Mount Raidermore, Silver, and Black Hills, to our mods, shout out to Ron Raspberry, Big Luck, Taino, LA Crash Dog. I want people to know a lot of crazy shit happens on this channel all the time. And it never goes unnoticed, never goes unappreciated. I wish I was a little bit more sober for this conversation that we're about to have. But I mean this, Venthrac. Like I said it, I don't remember when I said it exactly, but I said I think the next guy that gets into Mount Raidermore is Venthrac. But what's really cool about these shows, you see the amount of people that pulled up for you, the amount of people that are down in the chat, and you look at Seth, C. Brooks, Yoda, Ron, James, Paul, Zalesbo. Like we got people that watch this show all the time, and to be able to build the relationships that we're able to build, and you and I have never shaken hands, but I feel like I shook hands. Sorry, grammar. But I feel like I know you very, very well. I'm happy that you're able to make Mount Raidermore. You obviously deserve it. You humble me all the time. And, to me, I know when people deserve it is like when my dad starts to mention it. And my dad's my best friend, and I get it. Like, I talk to all y'all, like Mount Raidermore group chat. I got to add you to that. And I talk to Zon probably more than I talk to anybody. I'll be real, from Mount Raidermore, just because Zon's, my guy. And Zon's always going to have a special place in my heart because he's been with me from the very, very beginning, just like Raider Ron. And when all those people are like, yo, you got to get Venthrac in, I'm really happy. I was super stoked to do today's show, and I love the amount of people that showed love to Venthrac today. So that's dope, man. Really, really dope shit. Also, you got some stuff coming to you in the mail, so be ready for it. All right, y'all. We got a boot getting ready to go down. Chuggs said $50 will do it shirtless. I'll take my shirt off, too. 4 nipples, 1 screen. Venthrac for you. Dude, I'm telling you this right now. Hang on, I gotta add. It's murky waters. Also, if it smells like a fart, it's definitely me. Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. The amount of farts that are in this room right now, if this was a Disney show, it would be green here.
Dude, I think we've raised the temperature in here at least 3 degrees.
I mean, I'm confused if it's Fahrenheit or Celsius. I'm not sure. You smell that? That's what did he say earlier today? Onions and
ketchup and tacos.
Ketchup and tacos. Holy shit, dude. So we were making Step Brother references, and it's like ketchup and onions. Yeah, I can taste it on my tongue. One of the guys at work was like, ketchup and tacos. I can taste it on my tongue. I'm like, that's not how it goes. That's like saying to the window, to the door, to the sweat drop down my balls. You're like, you were close. I get what you were doing, but not quite. Venthrac! It's a boot. I'm going to do 1 beer before you do 3. Hopefully. Hopefully. All right. You ready? Holy shit, dude. That was tough. I really suck that one down. Bro, I'm not kidding you. I could play trumpet. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. Though, that's how you know. That's how you know, man. Chuggs is a monster. When I look underneath my bed, I see Chuggs. He's got a boot underneath his bed. I've never seen anybody like, actually the other day somebody was trolling me on our YouTube and our YouTube comments, like when I go through, hang on, excuse me, I can always like go through and I can sort through YouTube comments. And again, I don't think there's anybody out there in the world that knows Raiders YouTube better than what Chuggs and I do. And again, we were just working the space. It's not a knock on anybody, but confidently, there's not anybody that does more YouTube content around the Raiders than what Chuggs and I do. And I can go through and I can look at comments. Anyway, I saw a guy the other day. They was like, dude, you suck at chugging beers. And he was ripping on me because I always lose to you. And I was sitting there going like, you know, if I ran a 4.340 and I raced against, I don't know, Trey Tucker every day or John Ross or Xavier Worthy, and they're running 4.2s, that doesn't make me slow. I'm just going up against the greatest of all time. And it's really humbling, and I think people that have seen Chuggs do a boot in person is when people go, that's some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. Like, and it is. Like, how many people here down in the comments have seen Chuggs do a boot in person? It's a select few. Select few. Like, when we went to that one random Raiders party where we hung out with Max's mom and dad, and you broke your freaking forearm because you can't punch. You know, we did a boot, and the Raider fan that we met there, I apologize for not remembering your name, but you remember it was the guy who... Yeah, I mean, Zalesbo, it's gross, right? No, Zalesbo, we know which way Zalesbo leans. She's told me she was slightly turned on after watching Chuggs do a boot. I'm just kidding. She didn't tell me that, but I could tell in her eyes. She was like, that's kind of hot. Yeah, same place kill. But remember the Raiders fan that said he had cancer, and he tried to do a boot, and it almost, like, came up? That was somebody where he was so confident he was going to be able to do a boot. That was John. Mercedes. So Mercedes almost threw up the boot, but then also we had the other Raiders fan who said he was dealing with cancer. He tried to do one, and he got, like, halfway through it. Like, it's a different monster out there, dude. It's a different monster. Zalesbo, you know I love you. Son, like, if you're out there, and this is the definition of a Raiders Report real one. If I said that joke about Zalesbo and you laughed to it, that's the biggest dap up because that's one of those inside jokes. And don't get me wrong, we make a lot of content on this channel, and we're going to do a lot of crazy stuff on this channel. And confidently, there's not somebody that I think can talk Raiders better than I can. And I don't mean that as a knock, but I'm confident when I say that. My talking Raiders ability right now is definitely lower than what it usually is. But we also designed this show where we can let you behind the curtain. We can let you know what's going on. Chuggs is wafting a fart towards me right now. And I love doing these type of shows because the only way we build these relationships is if we let that curtain, down a little bit. It tastes like tacos and ketchup. Tony, Cohen is a dorky, but he can coach. I know he can coach, but he can coach offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you can coach offense doesn't mean you're going to be a good head coach. Josh McDaniels, Adam Gase, we see it year in and year out. And that whole Duval thing, it was weird, dude. Like, and I don't want to, because I was all in on Liam Cohen. I'm telling you right now, if Liam Cohen would have walked up to that podium, it would have been Raiders. I would have sat up here on the show and I've been like, I don't know. But at the same time, AP was so good at it. Maybe that's what we needed. Maybe we needed a Raiders type of guy. To the 581 people watching this show right now, I appreciate all y'all. Shout out to every single one of y'all mother effers for showing up for Venthrac. I don't know if you can tell. We're feeling pretty good right now. This is going to be your last opportunity to get in for the duck race. $10 Venmo, Mitchell Renz 365. Somebody's going to go home with some money. So I'm going to put some names in here. But first, I got to ask, I got to burp. Hey, Zon, can you add Venthrac to the Instagram chat? I just asked you a question. All right. Let me see the people that are in for the duck race here. So, the last time that I saw it, it was 10 to win $250, okay? Well, I'll do it then, Zon. I got you. I'm just not going to be able to do it. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it right away. I'll do my best, though, to get him in. I see Justin Gilbert. Gilbert, you sent in 2. I got you. You in. I see Alberto Ruve in. Which, Alberto, your name's not spelled even kind of right. Trent Hamada, you in. Hamada, you're going to be in again. I see Timmy Jones, you in. Miggy, in. And then Edwin Reyes, in. John Polito, also in. Charles, also in. $10 Venmo. You're going to go home with 300 doll hairs on today's episode. No, we're good. We're good. Avery said she's helping us after, so we should be good. It's all good. Noah, congratulations, Venthrac. Some would say the hardest part is getting your head in the door. Well, I don't know if you heard what Venthrac said. He said he's going to break down the door. So, Venthrac said, ready or not, here I come. Ready or not, I'm coming. Bro, I'm not going to lie. I feel pretty good right now. This might have been the most amount of beers I've consumed in an hour-long span. I don't know if that's 100% true, but it feels like it might be true. Rebel, said Mitch, get me in. Dude, we got a lot of people getting in this duck race, which I love. I see Trivan, you in. Though, Trivan, I don't know if you already know this. I did already put you in for a free one because you banged earlier on today's show. Anthony Green, I got you in ×2. Yep. Adrian Bravo, in. Malachi, in. Yeah, we got a 10 to win, $320. 10 to win. Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to do the duck race, okay? However, here's how we're going to do the rest of today's show. I'm going to ask you all a question. Do you want to keep happy hour going? Y for yes and for no. If we get enough yeses, I'm going to give you all a deal, and I mean this. It's okay if nobody does it, but I'm going to give you a deal to extend happy hour. It's how the show works. It's how we have to do it. We got studio space here, and I'm just being very transparent. I'm pretty banged up right now, but I can do a few more beers. If you want to keep the shit show going, I got a deal for all of y'all that I'm going to give you here in just a moment. What? What now? I will say this is always when I get nervous, though, that, like, Raiders breaking news is going to happen. Oh, Fox Awards, F it. I don't care. What, you thought Saquon won MVP? Oh, shit. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Saquon Barkley deserves the MVP. Do you guys agree with that statement? If you could choose right now out of the MVP candidates, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, to me, those are the only 3 people in it. Right? Those are the only 3 people in it. I don't know, and I hate that QB, that the MVP is turned into a quarterback award. It should go to the most valuable player on their team. The Philadelphia Eagles just put up 55 points in the NFC Championship game on Jalen Hurts on a bad knee. Saquon had 3 total touchdowns. First time he touched the ball 60 yards, house call. Like, if I was a betting man, I would bet on Josh Allen to win the MVP. I'm not going to lie to y'all. But I do think us as NFL fans at some point got to go, it's the most valuable player. There's not a more valuable player to their team. Now, again, Lamar is probably more valuable to their team. Josh Allen's probably more valuable to the team. But the most valuable player in the NFL this year, I think you can make an argument for Saquon Barkley. I really do. They need to split MVP into two categories, one for quarterback MVP and one for non-QB. Like, I think they could do a best quarterback award. But MVP's got to be the most valuable player. I also hate the fact that you can't judge what happens in the playoffs. Like, I get it's supposed to be a regular season award, but at the same time, like, nobody gives a shit about MVPs unless you're Cam Newton. Cam Newton cares about him. Cam Newton would rather have an MVP than a Super Bowl ring. All right, Chuggs, I'm going to send you this list. Patrick B., you in. I'm going to refresh my Venmo one more time. And if you want in, Patrick Roche. Excuse me, it's not Patrick B. Patrick Roche, that's on me. Luis Rod, in. Patrick B. is in as well, yes. Gilbert Moreno. So that means this. It is a $10 Venmo for a chance to win $340 here on the Raiders Report. And we're going to do this duck race. And then I'm going to give you guys a deal to keep this shit show going. And if the deal is answered, then we keep it going. We keep it rocking. And this could be a show that you guys keep it going. But I'm going to leave it up to all y'all. Okay? I'm going to leave it up to all y'all. All right. So, final chance to get in. It's a 10 right now to win. What did I say? I don't even remember. 340. I've been trying to lose weight, so I didn't eat as much as what I usually would for this type of show. I'm hurting right now. I'm not going to lie to y'all. We're getting kind of wild today. I've got 558 people watching. Ron, we got 517 likes. What are we doing here, Ron? Come on, Ron. Oh, dog race? I love it. A dog race is going to hit different. I mean, the dog race is the best race. Dog and a horse race. Those are the two best races. We got a shuff. Can I get one more shuff? All right, I'm going to refresh my phone one more time. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Winner gets $340. I tried to spell names the best I could. But as you can see for Trevan here, I didn't do a great job. Trevan! Sean Morgan! Sean Irish! Watch out for Kamar. Watch out for Witt. LA Crash Dog. Justin Gilbert. Making this kind of interesting here. Zon. What up, man? Look, see if you were invited to a call. Zon, I'll check after the live. I'm not in the place mentally to be able to do both right now. 20 seconds to go. Malachi's up there. Yoda Jenkins. Watch out for Eric Castro. Ron Raspberry in a very interesting spot. I would say right now that maybe Adrian Bravo gets the win. Though, maybe it's going to be Trevan. Maybe it's going to be Trevan. It looks like it's going to be Trevan. Congratulations to my guy, Trevan, with the dub. Dude, what a hell of a run there for Trevan. Hey, Trevan, can you please confirm down below that you just received $340? Congrats to Trevan. Trevan is the French Trivan from Venthrac. Oui, bonjour, qui. So here's my deal out there to the nation, okay? I said this. We can stay live. This is what's got to happen. Every single, okay? I like alley-oops. So we're gonna get some alley-oops going. Either this. If somebody throws up an alley-oop, okay, and somebody throws it down, $50 alley-oop, throw it up, throw it down, we are going to add 5 more minutes on the clock. If you throw up a hundo and somebody slams it down with another hundo, we are going to stay live for another 10 minutes. That's the deal on today's show. And every single one, if it's a 50, I will do my best to do a beer bong. If it's a hundo, I will absolutely do a full beer bong. So that means if it goes up and it comes down, alley-oop style, a beer bong is going down. 50 for 50, 5 minutes. Hundo for hundo, 10 minutes. My biggest ask to you is this. If somebody does that financially, please get some hashtag Raiders questions in. Or else, what are we doing here? I want to get some questions flowing. Hashtag Raiders, super chat to get on. Today's been a hell of a show for freaking Venthrac, man. It's been a hell of a show today already for Venthrac. And I am completely happy that Venthrac has done this. I'll say this, though. If somebody hits the gong, 20 extra minutes, guaranteed. Every gong rip from here on out, I'll add 20 minutes to it. If a dog had a race, who would win? If a dog in a pie... Bro, I'm not going to lie to you, Noah. I don't know if it's the beer hitting me right now or the Happy Dads. What you're saying, it's not making sense. If a dog and a pie cost... Am I tripping? Maybe I'm tripping. I think somebody needs to give Suavemente over here some water. Mr. Suavemente. What up, Noah? We got 500 people here watching right now. And here's the thing that I got to tell you. Now, I'm not going to be live tomorrow. You guys will get some videos that'll go out tomorrow. Chuggs and I will still make a lot of content. The next time that we will be live is going to be Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Noah said, what's a pie cost? About $6. What? If a dog and a pie cost had a race. Oh, all right. Though, if you could have a single pie right now, what pie would you take? That's going to be my answer. A key lime pie right now sounds absolutely gas. You got to pee? You got to go? Yeah, I'm not going to lie. We're feeling pretty good here on the Raiders Report. If you're a real one, click that subscribe button. If you had a fun time today, click that subscribe button. I will say this. If you are new to this show and my Raiders analysis over the past 30 minutes, don't take what I say in the next 30 minutes like that guy is exactly what you're going to get every day of the week. I am somebody there. When you watch this show, I'm a Raiders fan through and through. Wasn't born one. I am one now. I am confidently can say that I think that we provide the best Raiders content here on YouTube. We provide more Raiders videos than anybody out there on YouTube. But also, I want people to subscribe because I'm a normal human being. I love when fans come up to me and they go, hey, man, I watch the show all the time. I chugs beer with you all the time. And you want to take a pic? I love when people do that because at the end of the day, it helps me also put a face to a name. But I want people to subscribe to this show, and I want people to rock with the show. I want people to support this show for people like Venthrac, for people like David Zahn, for people down there in the comment section like Noah Santana, Ron Raspberry, Taino Raider. This is so much more than a YouTube channel. And I think that we're able to prove that almost every single day. I know today's show has been a little bit crazy. I know it's been a little bit wild, but I appreciate everyone that's helped support today's show. So we're going to go through some super chats here. And I'll tell you this. If we don't get anything else after the Venthrac Super, I'm going to end today's show on the Venthrac Super. Just letting you know. Isidro, what do you think of Russell Wilson as a bridge quarterback and draft Arch Manning if he comes out in the next 2 years? I would say this. If you sign Russell Wilson, you're not going to be in a position to draft Arch Manning because you got to have the number 1 overall pick. And I'll be real. If you don't have the number 1 overall pick when Arch comes out, you're not getting it because the team that has the number 1 pick is going to keep the number 1 pick. And I would say even if you offer them the moon and the world above, teams are going to keep the number 1 pick. And as unconfident as you can be in Russ, Raiders are going to be a better team with Russell Wilson than they were the past 2 years. Venthrac, I asked my date to meet me at the gym, but she never showed up. I guess the two of us aren't going to work out. Hey, man, if you're working out with your date at the gym, I tried to do that before. It's not the best option, though, going forward. All right, y'all. So I'm going to get on out of here. Today's show, all about Venthrac. Venthrac, man, thank you for always pulling up. Thank you for always showing love to this channel. Thank you for showing that this is so much more than a YouTube channel. I've done a lot of these type of shows before. There hasn't been many people that have deserved to make Mount Raider more than Venthrac. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This season sucked, right? It was a tough year for Raiders fans out there. But when you have people that show love, that can make it entertaining, not only for me and Chuggs, but make it entertaining for thousands. And I mean thousands of people where I hope you know, like when I check my DMs, I check all these, I look at the message people send me. You have been the number 1 name in my DMs of, hey, Mitch, make sure Venthrac knows that I appreciate him. We have had close to, and this is going to be a crazy number, we've had close to 5 million people watch the Raiders Report in the year of 2025. And 5 million people, Venthrac, know your name. They know your name well. And I just want people to know that when you show love on this channel, I hope that people show love to those people out in real life too, because you deserve it. I'm going to send you a Mount Raider More jersey. I hope you wear it loud and proud. If anybody ever sees anybody rocking a Mount Raider More jersey, and if it's signed by Chuggs and I, you know that they got it here. If you see that person out in public, buy them a beer. Say thank you because they do it for the nation. And it's the same thing over and over and over again. Zon, Ron, Trivan, they do it for the nation. Venthrac does it for the nation. From me, from Jeremy Chuggs, to all y'all mother effers down there in the comments section, Venthrac, congratulations on making Mount Raider more. I'm going to give you guys the loudest Raiders I can, and then we're out of this piece. 3, 2, 1. Raiders!